Ladies, you're gonna make magic at SummerSlam!
Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Naomi, a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. WWE SummerSlam tonight.
John Cena, it's not just a match for the title at SummerSlam. It's a street fight!
John Cena, Cody Rhodes, for the undisputed WWE Championship.
The biggest party of the summer just got bigger. Stay on and watch this.
WWE SummerSlam tonight.
I'm in the studio. Call you when I leave.
Naomi is cashing in her Money in the Bank contract.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Ladies, you're gonna make magic at SummerSlam!
Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Naomi, a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship.
Then, now, forever. Together.
Ladies and gentlemen, the historic George Washington Bridge connects New York City to New Jersey. We're somewhere in the swamps of Jersey tonight. This is the Meadowlands, East Rutherford. We're at MetLife Stadium, home to the NFL's Jets and Giants, the finals of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and tonight, SummerSlam Part 2, SummerSlam Sunday. And the main event tonight pits this man, the former undisputed champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, hungry to get his title back. He needs to beat the real John Cena live in order to accomplish that feat in a street fight tonight. The Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, kicks off the show tonight with another opportunity to get her world title back. But she has her work cut out for her in a triple threat match versus the Genius of the Sky, the former champion, Io Sky, who was cast in on last month at Evolution by a woman who vows to proceed with caution. She's the Women's World Champion, Naomi. She defends in a triple threat to kick off SummerSlam Sunday tonight. But before we get to that, let's take you back to the highlights from SummerSlam Saturday. Of the NFL. And this weekend, the host of an historic two-night SummerSlam.
What's good, WWE Universe? I'm about to take it out. Who's ready to win some? And now we're going out. Welcome to SummerSlam!
the official has to call off the cover. Prettiest moonsault ever! Tiffany Stratford Page!
Everybody out there, devil is coming. Promise you the world, but he's always bluffing. Before you even know it's a trap you're stuck in. He's gone like a ghost, already off running.
And a splash through Jelly Roll! Claymore!
So far below, staring up. I try to escape it, but there's nowhere to go. Staring up from the bottom.
Punk is the world champion!
Seth Rollins is cashing in.
Bruise of the century. And you are looking live at MetLife Stadium. Over 50,000 WWE fans will be here tonight for SummerSlam Sunday. And we whet your appetite with a countdown show presented by Cricket 5G. New Jersey, are you guys ready for the biggest SummerSlam ever? Hello again, everybody. I'm Michael Cole, and it is my privilege tonight to be at ringside once again to call all the action of SummerSlam Sunday with my partner, Wade Barrett. Also here on the Countdown Show, Big E. Let's get right to it and what happened last night. CM Punk finally getting to the top of the mountain after 12 years. An emotional moment for Punk. Finally won the World Championship.
And then skullduggery was afoot. Great for CM Punk. It has been a 12-year journey back to the top, about as arduous a climb as possible, and he made it there and didn't have the time to enjoy it at all because Seth freaking Rollins did the unthinkable. Hats off to the Oracle, Paul Heyman. That's why you pay a guy like that, to convince everybody it ain't gonna happen until it did.
Big E, once again, Rollins outmaneuvered CM Punk, and that has been the story of their history.
The entire time, so many of us were thinking this is a man who is going to be on the shelf for maybe the next 9 months. Who knows the next time we'll see Seth Rollins? And all along, he was plotting. He knew. And I love that moment where CM Punk hears that music hit, the look of realization. He had nothing left to give. He knew it was over right then and there.
Well, all of us, I mean, Wade and I could not believe what was happening. I called it the ruse of the century because it indeed was.
Absolutely. And word on the street is we actually had a camera on the two of you when Seth's music hit. Can we see that right now?
Yeah, this is a spy cam. We saw it on Instagram a bit earlier today. My God. Oh, no. Not tonight. Not tonight of all nights. You got to be kidding me. Punk is defenseless. Punk is helpless. A stop the Punk. A cover by Rollins. Oh, my God. Rollins is the world heavyweight champion. Seth Rollins outmaneuvered CM Punk again. And before you take all the credit, Wade, 1.3 million views of that clip already.
I would love to take some credit, but apparently you've paid off the producer to completely edit out anything I said at any point during the show. Nice job, Michael Cole.
Also, let's talk about Roman Reigns' return with Jey Uso. First time that I remember Roman Reigns actually taking a bullet for a member of his family.
This selfless version of Roman Reigns is not one that I'm used to. I'm used to someone who derides his family, who shoves them down to get them to do his bidding. But I think we're seeing maybe a more wiser, a more mature version. But to see Jey Uso get the pin in that moment and to see Roman Reigns sacrifice himself for the greater good, shocking.
And
I didn't like that at all. I felt like the best
not.
thing about Roman Reigns over the past 10 years has been the fact that he is ruthless and self-centered, and guess what? It's led him to unparalleled success. You start looking out for other people in this game, things don't necessarily go quite as well. I don't like that from Roman.
And one other note on last night, how about the performance, even though it was a losing cause, of Jelly Roll?
Look, we talk a lot. We had him on the post show. We got to talk with the man, and there's so much respect for him. Just the fact that he's lost over 200 pounds to get to this point, and a lot of people, we've talked about the people who come from different walks of life, who enter this business and think that, okay, I can step in the ring, but this man did the work. He went down to Orlando. He was there, and hearing about him sweeping up the ring, hearing just his commitment to this really paid off, and it showed. So hats off to Jelly Roll. Obviously, it didn't go his way, but I think he won over a lot of people in our industry with his performance last night.
It was a gutsy effort from Jelly Roll. He shocked a lot of us. But here's what I want to know going forward. I got maximum respect for Logan Paul. He's a celeb who came in, had his first match and said, I need more. I know it hurts. I want more and more and more. These people hate him. I get that. The guy's been brilliant. Jelly Roll has tasted the reality of this game now. He's tasted the pain of this game. Is he ever going to come back for more? I don't know.
Well, that was all SummerSlam Saturday, but we've got another night of SummerSlam. SummerSlam Sunday in front of over 50,000 people tonight. Let's take a look at the card. And this is a street fight. It's for the undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes versus who we believe will be the real, the original John Cena. Let's see how this plays out tonight. In a steel cage match, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa battle it out for the United States Championship. First man to gain pinfall submission or escape the cage, both feet hit the floor, will win the United States title. Great rivalry developing between these two, but it's Lyra Valkyria's last opportunity at the Intercontinental title as long as Becky's champion. Lyra, Becky, no countouts, no disqualifications for the women's Intercontinental title. Dirty Dom with a massive Intercontinental Championship defense against AJ Styles. AJ Styles admitted in our kickoff show on Friday the window's closing. Could be his final opportunity at a championship. It is going to be the biggest TLC match, tables, ladders, and chairs in history. At this event in 2000, TLC became famous. Tonight, the biggest of all time for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And to kick off the show tonight at SummerSlam Sunday, a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Naomi defends the title against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky live tonight at SummerSlam Sunday. Over the next few hours, we're going to talk all about the big matches that are going to shape SummerSlam Sunday tonight, but I want to start off with the undisputed WWE Championship match. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and Wade, you were at SmackDown ringside on Friday night when John Cena proclaimed that he is the old John Cena once again. You are a bit skeptical of that.
Okay, 5 months of John Cena being a nasty piece of work, taking every underhanded shortcut he possibly can, and 3 minutes on a mic has the entire world and Cody Rhodes convinced that, psych, it was all a mistake. I'm back to the old me. Everything cool? Yeah, no problem. I'm not buying it, John Cena. I didn't trust you in 2010. I didn't trust you at the beginning of this year, and I certainly don't trust you now.
Wade, I sort of trust John. I talked to him a bit earlier today. He seemed extremely humble. It seemed like I was sitting down with a guy that I've known for 20 years. It seemed like he was the old John Cena once again, and I think Big E, that reality's starting to set in with John, that this is his last SummerSlam. He's got 4 months left after this, and I think he wants to go out on his terms, and he wants to provide the people the John Cena that they've known for 20 years.
I'm with Wade in that I also don't know what to make of this. This could be a very earnest John Cena, but look, I've also seen someone when he's done interviews, when he's done appearances, I think this is someone who wants to embrace the love of the fans. I think this is someone who wants to have fun during his very last run here in WWE. And look, we know the Cena that we know has been a master politician. He has made a lot of moves, behind closed doors. So I don't know if I should take him at face value, but I also see someone who I think wants to be able to receive his flowers from the fans. And he talks about, hey, the 2 guys who were supposed to be here with me running this thing, they're not here anymore. There's no Dwayne. There's no Travis Scott. Where are they? Is it worth holding on to this path that we talked about 5 months ago? Is it worth staying in this lane, or should I be the John Cena that the people truly want?
Okay, I don't know what the truth is with regards to John Cena. I don't chat to the guy, but I do know this. Best case scenario, if what you two are saying is correct, and he wants to go out with the love of the fans and all that good stuff, then that is called being sentimental. You cannot be sentimental at the top level of this game. You have to be ice cold and ruthless. If Cena has got soft all of a sudden, then it's not going to go well for him tonight.
Let's talk about Dominic Mysterio and the pressure that is on him as he defends the Intercontinental Championship tonight. Judgment Day lost the women's tag team titles last night. A lot of pressure on Dom to keep gold in the family tonight. Big E, could this be Dominic's coming out party tonight against AJ Styles?
I mean, the way people have taken to Dominic Mysterio is very evident. Everywhere we go, I remember the post-show at WrestleMania, the love he got, it's all there. Everything's there. The star power is there. His growth in the ring is very evident. But if we're talking about my Mount Rushmore of in-ring workers, I think AJ Styles is up there. He deserves to be in there. So let's not discount AJ Styles. But tonight, we will see if Dominic can rise to the occasion. He's been in the ring with a lot of great wrestlers, but has he been in the ring with someone the caliber of AJ Styles? I think not. And the thing I think also that I worry about with Dominic Mysterio is the last several weeks we've seen him with his supposed injury. He's been very hesitant to get medically cleared. Has he been excited for this challenge? Has he been ready for this challenge? That's not someone I've seen. I've seen someone who's been running from that, and I want to see tonight if he's actually prepared for that match.
So also tonight, in a match that I believe is going to steal the show, is the no count out, no disqualification match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, a little bit later on here in the Countdown show, I sat down with Becky Lynch earlier in the week for an extended interview, and Becky was very controversial with a lot of things that she said, but I also asked her the question, are you scared? Are you worried about what your legacy is going to be? And she had a very interesting answer for that. But that match is coming up later on tonight. Also, let's talk about the #1 contender for Becky Lynch's Intercontinental Championship. Lyra Valkyria is here. It is her last chance to win the Intercontinental Championship as long as Becky Lynch is champion. No count out, no disqualification tonight. We're outside MetLife Stadium. Hundreds of fans have shown up for the Countdown show. We continue in a moment.
John Cena, it's not just a match for the title at SummerSlam. It's a street fight!
John Cena, Cody Rhodes, for the undisputed WWE Championship.
The biggest party of the summer just got bigger. Stay on and watch this.
WWE SummerSlam, tonight.
I'm in the studio. Call you when I leave.
It might have been over, but this simply isn't only about victory. This is about punishing Sami Zayn until the man cracks.
Marion Cross reaching out to Scarlett. And there's the steel pipe coming into play again tonight. The pipe that has assaulted Sami Zayn on a number of occasions here.
And the referee is currently unsighted, checking on Sami Zayn, and now there's a distract from Scarlett.
Yeah, Sean Bennett does not see Cross with the steel pipe in his hand. And Sami Zayn, though, blue thunderbomb off the counter. Near fall for Sami. Now the pipe backfired.
Take another look at this with the referee distracted by Scarlett on the apron. The swing, the miss, and the blue thunder bomb that almost got the 3 count there. It was a delayed count from a distracted referee, and that's possibly the only reason Cross is still in the fight. This is Zayn cracking now. This is the facade beginning to break, Michael Cole.
Perhaps you're right. Very aggressive Zayn assaulting Cross in the ropes.
Clearly lost it after that attempt by Cross with the lead pipe once again.
Well, you can't quite blame Sami with everything he's been put through by Cross in the past few weeks.
But is this Cross being proved right? Is the evil starting to seep through of Sami Zayn's soul? The referee struggling to even hold back Sami Zayn at this point. Sami's lost it.
The official Sean Bennett trying to talk some sense into Sami.
Sami needs to regain his composure here.
Yeah, reminding him that you... And now Scarlett offering the weapon to Sami. Now the moment of truth for Zayn.
The moral dilemma. The devil inside is coming out to play tonight.
Will Sami Zayn cross over to the dark side at the behest of Scarlett? He says no, an emphatic no from Sami Zayn. And a cross from behind, trying to take advantage. Sami kicks. And now Zayn hooks him. Exploder dropped him on the back of his head.
It's a heavy landing for Karrion Kross, who is completely rocked. Eyes just rolled in the back of his head.
Haluma kick. Cover.
Here is your winner, Sami Zayn!
Sami Zayn proves that sometimes, Wade, good guys can finish first.
Welcome to my home, the Big Island.
Another glorious day in paradise.
Because it's always beautiful and warm here.
This is how a champion's supposed to live.
It's just not another nice day at the beach.
Put a little zinc oxide on my nose. It's starting to get a sunburn.
Looks like there's some trouble in paradise.
Looks like we've got some uninvited guests.
That's some kind of a
Move.
beach bully, man.
Let me out! Stand up!
So much for fun in the sun.
Oh, Aquaman!
Splashdown. As Michelangelo would say, cowabunga.
Good God, man.
Oh, it's a summer spectacular. I love summer. Cannonball!
I scream, you scream, not ice cream!
Who wants some sweet satisfaction?
Can summer get any hotter?
Shaka.
Outside MetLife Stadium, Joe Tessitore and Peter Rosenberg with you, reflecting on Saturday night, night one of SummerSlam. As we start Sunday in a parking lot, we finished Saturday night in a parking lot, but we did have 10,000 people behind us for the post-show.
Incredible. Maybe the most electric post-show of all time.
And we invite you to come and join us for the post-show tonight, as well at the conclusion of SummerSlam night number 2. I do want to get into some topics that we didn't get to touch last night on the post-show. Every single major PLE has a winner who's not necessarily a winner, or isn't getting all the shine. When you reflect on Saturday night, who's that X-Factor winner for you?
Well, it's interesting because one guy who did not win last night, but everyone's been talking about, of course, is Jelly Roll.
Yes.
No one expected the performance, the bravery, how good he was in ring, the choke slam, all of it. But as a result, no one is talking about the guy who got a monster win in Logan Paul.
Oh, yeah.
So we can talk about Jelly Roll, and we should. He was very impressive. I think we'll see him in a ring again. But Logan Paul showed again, a guy who was once an outsider himself is now the real deal, a true superstar, and gets a huge win.
And I will give Logan Paul credit in one other aspect, and that is the build to that match.
Absolutely.
I thought he was outstanding in the build-up to that tag team match that completely over-delivered. Yes, give credit to Jelly Roll. But wow, off the post to the table. We'll talk about that in a second, by the way, and then the splash to win it. Now, I want to do a little Rosenberg rapid fire here.
All right.
With various moments, topics from Saturday night, and I want to start with Roman Reigns dive over the top rope that could have won an Olympic long jump.
To me, that is the reminder. Roman Reigns, a lot of things have changed. He's tagging. He's not on last. He's on first. He's with his cousin. He will still remind you, do not forget it. He is the guy who stirs the drink, and you're reminded in that moment.
Next, rapid fire reacts. Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn, the lead pipe conflict struggle.
Obviously, there's a whole lot of mental games being played there. The thing that I come away from that thinking about, though, is everyone loves Karrion Kross. The man just dropped a book. At the post-show last night, when Triple H was speaking, people were chanting, "We want Kross! We want Kross!" They love Karrion Kross, but in a huge moment, guess what? He came up short. What is next for Karrion Kross?
Rapid fire reacts to what I thought was one of the best timed moves of the entire night, and that's Alexa Bliss's save with a natural selection.
Yeah, the natural selection there shows you the natural chemistry that has developed between those two. They may be friends, they may be kind of friends. There is real timing and chemistry.
And then Tiffany Stratton's first prettiest moonsault attempt. When Jade Cargill got the legs up, Tiffany didn't even touch the mat after that contact.
Well, to me, that's just another moment that makes you realize how tough Tiffany Stratton is. Don't let the look fool you. Don't think about her coming out of the Barbie Mattel box at WrestleMania. She is a badass.
And I promised I would get the rapid reaction to this. Logan Paul off the post through the table with Jelly Roll.
I don't want to make, nerdy wrestling fans like myself on the internet upset. We're going to have to start talking about where this guy ranks in all-time athletes to ever do this thing.
Listen, it is not a stretch. He is that springy, and he is that good of a high flyer. Hey, more of the Rosenberg longer reactions on the post show tonight. Good stuff to get today's started, my friend.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much, guys. I know you're deep in the talks about SummerSlam, but I want to take it back for a second. A couple weeks ago to Evolution and that Women's World Championship match between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Both of those women thought that they were walking out of Atlanta with that title. However, as we all know, Naomi cashing in her Money in the Bank contract, surprising those two women, surprising everyone in the arena, everyone in the world. And now we are here at MetLife Stadium, a triple threat match between the three. We will see who walks out as the Women's World Champion and the top female on Raw. I did catch Naomi earlier today. Hopefully I can track her down again for an interview, but in the meantime, let's head out to Byron Saxton.
When it comes to tonight's TLC match, there's a lot of concern in the air, but not necessarily from the superstars. That concern is from the medical staff. A couple weeks ago when Nick Aldis made the announcement, basically encouraged these teams to beat the you-know-what out of each other, that sent immediate concern to the medical staff and encouraged them to beat things up tonight. So at ringside tonight during that match, instead of one ringside physician, you're gonna have two. Instead of two athletic trainers, you're gonna have four. Not to mention the paramedic unit is gonna be on standby. And let's not get this twisted. We don't want to see anybody get hurt here. But we've also seen TLC matches. So add in the WWE Tag Team titles, add in this being the 25-year anniversary of the first TLC match, and you know all these teams are gonna go all out. So whether it's DIY, whether it's Fraxium, whether it's the Street Profits, whether it's Rey Fenix and Andrade, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Tag Team Champs, the Wyatt Six, there's a guarantee it's gonna be absolute chaos, but there's also a strong possibility that the minds and bodies of all the superstars involved will never be the same.
Thanks so much, Byron. There is so much going on tonight at SummerSlam. Sam, you take a look at the card. Which match do you think is going to deliver the biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise. I think the biggest surprise is going to come down to what happens in the ring, and I think that it's going to happen in the Intercontinental Championship match. AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio. Look, we all know that AJ Styles is one of the best professional wrestlers to ever walk the planet Earth, but I think what doesn't get said enough is that Dominic Mysterio over the last few years has become one of the best in-ring wrestlers on the WWE roster. So much so that I think the two of them are fully capable tonight of delivering an Intercontinental Classic at SummerSlam.
Sam, everything you're saying about Dominic is absolutely true. But this is AJ Styles we're talking about. You said it yourself. He's one of the best wrestlers to ever walk the face of the earth. And this is an AJ Styles that has said it might be his last SummerSlam. If there is no tomorrow for AJ Styles, he's going to leave everything he has in the ring tonight. But that all remains to be seen. Let's get over to Jackie Redmond, who's got what you need to know.
Megan, Sam, thank you. Very much looking forward to that match. I'm also excited about tonight's main event. Cody Rhodes taking on John Cena in a street fight for the WWE Championship. Here are the stats we do know. This will be the 5th time these two go head-to-head. John Cena is 4-0 in those matches. Yeah, Cody's never beaten him 1v1. Not only does Cena have Cody's number, the guy also doesn't lose in New Jersey. Get this, John Cena has never, I repeat, never lost a match here in New Jersey with a title on the line. He is an undefeated 3-0 with wins over the likes of WWE Hall of Famer Booker T, Randy Orton, and The Rock. It's impressive stuff, but that's the stuff we do know. Here's what we need to know, are dying to know, but don't. Has John Cena actually turned over a new leaf? And if so, how does that affect the psyche of the American Nightmare as he prepares for this match? I mean, Cody has said he is willing to do whatever it takes to defeat John Cena, but he said that about the version of John Cena that wanted to, quote, ruin wrestling. If John Cena is actually back to being about hustle, loyalty, and respect, that's a guy that Cody Rhodes actually respects. Is he willing to do whatever it takes against that John Cena? I mean, how do you prepare for a street fight when you're not sure exactly which version of your opponent you're gonna get? We know the champ is here. Yes, he is. The question is, who is he? There are layers to this thing, and oh my goodness, Cole, they are intriguing. So as I throw it back to you, I ask you this, are you buying what John Cena is selling?
And I am, Jackie. We talked about that a little bit earlier on. Big E and I seem to think John Cena is going to go back to the old John Cena. Wade very skeptical about it, but I do want to talk about Cody in this situation in just a moment. However, some more numbers to throw at you. Both of these men have winning records in street fights in their career. Remember the rules. No countouts, no disqualifications. You win via pinfall or submission. This is just the 4th street fight in the history of SummerSlam, and we get that here tonight. So, Big E, let's start with Cody. Big match for Cody Rhodes. So much was made about him finally winning the title at WrestleMania, finishing the story, and then the controversy and how he lost the championship this time around. Finally, a chance to get the title back. This is a must-win for Rhodes.
Absolutely, and you know he talked a lot about finishing his story, and I would argue in many ways he hasn't finished his story, because if you want to be named amongst the greatest of all time, just winning one world championship really isn't enough. If you want to be considered amongst the very best of this industry, if you want to be an all-time great, he has to do it tonight. He has to get that win back, because I don't know where Cody Rhodes goes if he loses to John Cena tonight. I think in many ways, Cena's legacy, it's solidified. Whether he wins more titles or not, he already has the most world championships in the history of our company. That's solidified. I think Cody desperately needs this, and that's why I wonder if we see a more desperate version of Cody because of that.
So Cody Rhodes, let's not forget, back at Money in the Bank in LA in June, Cody actually pinned John Cena in a tag team match. Will that come into play at all mentally tonight, Wade?
Well, it's a big help, but I think the issue for John Cena more than anything is, look at the facts here. Why did John Cena win the title at WrestleMania? Because he cheated. Why did he defeat Randy Orton at Backlash? Because he cheated. Now, it's hard to cheat in a street fight like we've got tonight.
It's impossible. You can't. So it doesn't matter.
But you can use underhanded tactics, Big E. You could parachute Travis Scott in with a bazooka, for example. I don't think that's going to happen. That'll probably ruin the show. But you can use skullduggery. And if John Cena is reverting back to the golden era John Cena, I don't know if he can actually defeat this version of Cody Rhodes.
And Wade, that brings up a very interesting point, because a lot has been made over the past number of months of whether Cody has that killer instinct, whether he can pull the trigger when he needs to, especially in a match tonight where the rules are designed to be able to use anything you want as a weapon. So Big E, Cody Rhodes, will he finally be able to pull the trigger tonight when he needs to against Cena?
He absolutely needs to. I think he finally, I hope he's learned his lesson. We've seen him be hesitant in the past, and that has cost him time and time again. And I think he realizes that right now there's nothing to be gained from being virtuous in a match like this. There's nothing to be gained from doing the right thing. We need to see a vicious, ruthless version of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody couldn't pull the trigger at WrestleMania because pulling the trigger at WrestleMania was cheating. It wasn't part of the rules. It's not illegal today. It's a street fight. Cody's requested that, and that completely levels the playing field. He's not going to be cheating if he pulls the trigger, and I think that's a mental thing in Cody's mind. He wants to be virtuous. He wants to lead by example, and he can win tonight while still pulling the trigger, and that's the difference.
And listen, I love Cody more than anyone. You guys know my relationship with him, and you also know my relationship with John. I just can't see John Cena losing this match tonight for a number of reasons. He's a veteran of SummerSlam. This is his 6th main event at SummerSlam. Only The Undertaker has had more main events at SummerSlam than John Cena. I mentioned a winning record in his career in street fights. MetLife Stadium behind us, of course, where SummerSlam takes place, is an unbelievable venue for John Cena. John Cena perhaps had the most therapeutic win of his career in this building. The year prior in Miami at WrestleMania, he lost to The Rock. He came back the next year and beat The Rock in what he called, again, his most therapeutic victory in his career. I cannot see Cena losing, especially with 4 months left in his retirement tour. I just don't know how Cody overcomes that momentum tonight.
And look, we talk a lot about whether this is going to be the old John Cena or the current John Cena, but let's not act like the old John Cena was some soft and cuddly version. Did he not drop about 50 chairs on you at the end of
he did.
when the match was pretty much over? It was done. Like, look, the John Cena we know and love is still a killer. So I'm not worried about what version of Cena we get. He is still going to be at his very best. He is still aiming to leave tonight once again as WWE champion.
So let's pick winners now. Big E?
I got Cody. I think he finds a way, somehow finds a way.
Wade?
I don't trust John Cena. The nice guy is not here. Don't believe the hype. John Cena will navigate his way to victory tonight, sadly.
As much as I want Cody to win this match, I don't think John Cena loses in the main event at SummerSlam. Well, we talked a lot about this yesterday. Aspiring WWE superstar hopefuls had tryouts at the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Nearly 50 athletes, indie wrestlers, judo, rugby players, football players, gymnastic stars, among others, trying to show our coaches what they have and why they should get a chance. Had some surprise visits, including Rhea Ripley. John Cena showed up to talk to some of these possible future superstars. Again, could we be looking at a future WWE champion?
Completely new discipline and the toughest thing.
We're expecting over 50,000 again tonight. Hundreds are filling into the parking lot in front of MetLife Stadium. SummerSlam countdown continues in a moment.
What just happened?
Seth, you lied to me!
It should have been fun! Oh my God! That was insane.
That was crazy! Seth, really? Are you kidding me?
I flew 7 hours from Ireland for Seth to fake an injury. Justice for Punk.
Rollins does it again!
That was insane! Crazy! This was crazy!
Heist of the Century 2.0. Crazy.
This heist of the century was crazy!
What the heck was that?
I do not believe that.
Traded in my briefcase for a strap, baby!
Heartbreak.
Canelo Alvarez, one of the greatest Mexican boxers of all time. All of Mexico is marching with him. Viva Mexico, cabrones!
Terrence Bud Crawford. He is on a whole nother level.
It doesn't get any bigger than this. This is truly a super fight.
The sport of boxing will change forever.
Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. On August 31st,
WWE in Paris.
An absolutely incredible scene.
Create a masterpiece.
This is what World Wrestling Entertainment is all about.
WWE Clash in Paris. Tickets on sale now.
The SummerSlam Countdown Show continues outside MetLife Stadium, and the match that will kick off SummerSlam Sunday tonight is the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Naomi defends against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky.
Rhea Ripley has never defeated Io Sky in her career. Io Sky defends the Women's World title against Rhea Bloody Ripley. Io inadvertently hit their official. The Genius of the Sky with Ripley in trouble.
Two women putting in performances of extreme distinction.
This is your last warning. Oh my God! Naomi's here. It's officially cashed in. It's a triple threat match. There are no disqualifications. Split-legged moonsault.
Your new Women's World Champion.
The new Women's World Champion.
I wasn't feeling the glow, but you feeling me now, ain't you? Don't nobody know my next move until I make it. That's why I'm standing here now as the new Women's World Champion. But all you raggedy heifers back there in the Raw locker room, I strongly advise you to proceed with caution.
This is what you tell the chief.
One thing you should know about me, I'm not cautious. I'm reckless and I am pissed. I walked into Evolution with 2 goals. To finally beat Io Sky and to get back the Women's World Championship. Now, all because of you, I still have those 2 goals. So congratulations, Naomi, because you just made it onto my list.
Rhea, with respect, get in line. Naomi, I will get back my title from you.
Ladies, it will be Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Naomi for that Women's World Championship at SummerSlam.
Get y'all entitled asses out my face into the back of the line. I made history, baby. Who got the upper hand now, bitches? Mommy is the most dominant woman within this company.
Rhea Ripley is a genuine badass. How can you not be impressed?
I'm gonna stop at nothing to get the Women's World Championship back.
Nobody in this division can stop me. It's my era. I will take my rightful spot at the top of this division.
I strongly advise you to proceed with caution.
Well, guys, I can't say that I've ever done an interview like this before. Women's World Champion Naomi circling me like a shark in the water. Naomi, I was hoping I could catch you for a second to ask you about your Money in the Bank cash-in. at Evolution a couple weeks ago. But tonight, you face Io Sky and Rhea Ripley fresh in that triple threat match. How confident are you that you're going to walk out with the title?
Girl, I'm sweating confidence in my new hot merch. What you mean? And you know what? I'll never forget. 8 years ago, I lost my championship at SummerSlam to Natalya. I'd be damned if I let it happen again.
Tonight, you actually don't need to be pinned to lose the title. Does that affect you at all?
Don't you think I know that? I got this. You worry about the wrong thing. You need to proceed with caution before I run over them little toes you got.
Running over them at 5.5 miles per hour. Cole?
Kathy, I'm so glad that I wasn't the only one that Naomi was taking shots at today. I had an opportunity. I ran into Naomi a little bit earlier on, and I guess I used the wrong word. I said, why this nasty attitude? Well, she got extremely upset with me. She goes, Cole, listen to me. I haven't had a title here in 8 years. I finally won one. No one's still showing me any respect. They didn't show me respect for 8 years. They took advantage of me. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair stabbed me in the back. Hell, I was run out of this company and had to claw and scratch my way to get back here. That's why I got a pissed off attitude.
Absolutely. I don't want to speak for Naomi, but this is someone I've known for 16 years. And I know the path. And I think so often of someone like her who has never been the squeaky wheel. She's always done things the right way. And time again, she's felt like she's been passed over to the point where she left the company after feeling disrespected, goes to TNA. She's a world champion there, comes back here, and again feels like she's second fiddle in the big three. It's all about Jade. It's about Bianca. Where is the love for me? And I think she got to a point, this is something when Woods and we were still cool. He has something he would call finding your effort. Where you get to a point where you're tired of pleasing people, you're tired of doing things the right way, just put all that out the window and let me do me. And I think that's where Naomi is right now, where she is tired of being nice, she is tired of being polite, she is tired of all that. She is going to do her, and I think we have seen the most confident version of Naomi, we have seen the most focused version of Naomi, but she is in the ring with two living legends.
And Wade, that's the issue that Naomi has for me. I mean, it was a surprise when she cashed in Money in the Bank back at Evolution. There's no surprise tonight. She is now being hunted by Rhea and Io. Naomi, well, this is a massive match for her to show everyone that last month wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, I mean, winning the Money in the Bank ladder match is really, really difficult. It's an arduous task, and I've got all the respect in the world for anyone who's ever won that match. The cash-in part apart from you, the cash-in part is really easy. A moron could get that right. So the fact that Naomi ran down at Evolution, won the championship, it was a shortcut to the championship in that particular moment. Tonight, there are no shortcuts. And here's the added danger for Naomi. She ruined a historic match between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky at Evolution. Both of those women went there that night, laid it all on the mat in expectation of making history. And there is going to be bitterness residing in their souls ever since that moment was snatched away from them after all their hard work. And tonight they may well want to align together, at least briefly, and take that frustration out on the champ.
Hey, to take that one step further, at Evolution.
Nice, you're learning. And that is the correct way, believe me. It is the King's English we're talking here, correct?
Rhea Ripley finally, Big E, had Io beat. Io has been that thorn in her side. Rhea's never been able to beat Io Sky in her entire career in WWE, and she finally had her beat at Evolution last month before Naomi cashed in. So Rhea is not in a pleasant mood.
Not at all. And look, those two were putting on an absolute classic. I think, again, to the Mania match with Bianca, my favorite match of the year. Those two matches just truly incredible. And Naomi ended up ruining a lot of that. But, Rhea is someone who a lot of people might complain, why does she get this opportunity, that opportunity? We talk about big match, John. I think Rhea deserves that nickname, Big Match Rhea. When she's in a big title match, she delivers time and time again.
Couple of numbers to wrap up this discussion. Rhea Ripley has never beaten Io, as we mentioned. She has never won a match at SummerSlam. For Io Sky, she has won at SummerSlam. 2 years ago, she cashed in the Money in the Bank contract at this event to win the Women's Championship. Also, one final number for Io Sky. In her career, Io is 8-1 in triple threat matches. Prediction time, Biggie.
Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea finally gets it done. I think it's Rhea's time.
Proceed with caution. The nice girl is gone. You know why? Because niceness gets treated like weakness. The lesson in this, don't be nice. Naomi successfully confirms herself as the champ tonight.
Well, we're going to be split down 3 ways here because I'm going to talk about Io Sky winning this matchup tonight. Io's sort of been forgotten in this whole mess over the last few weeks. Genius of the Sky wins the championship here tonight. Well, plenty more to come on the Countdown to SummerSlam show. In fact, right now, we want to head over to Byron Saxton and Chewy Martinez at the Cricket Fan Zone. How's things going over there, guys?
Amazing, absolutely amazing here in the Cricket Fan Zone. Chewy Martinez, you've seen him on TV, radio, WWE Evolve. Chewy, how excited are you for SummerSlam?
I feel good, baby. Here we are at SummerSlam.
But you know who else feels good? The people. The people feel good. The people have a lot of opinions. So what do you say we get some predictions on what's going on tonight?
Let's do that.
Okay, what we got?
The cage match. Who's taking it? Who's taking it?
Jay got Fatu. He's gonna be all gas, no breaks with it. Yada da me.
I like that prediction.
I like that.
I like that energy. I like that energy. I like that energy.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, this young lady right here. What's your name? Aubrey. So tonight we have a huge triple threat match for the women's world title. It's Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. Who do you want to win?
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley. Thank you, Aubrey. But of course, everybody's talking about the main event. The undisputed WWE title will be on the line as John Cena defends.
That's right, baby. That's
against
right.
Cody Rhodes. So because that's the main event tonight, this will be the main event of the Cricket Fan Zone.
Woo!
So right here, right here we have, what's your name, sir?
Henry Gelb.
And you are a Cody Rhodes fan.
Absolutely.
Chewy, who do you have?
Who do I got here?
Anthony.
Anthony from New Jersey, and you're going Team Cena all day.
Team Cena every day.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so we're gonna ring the proverbial bell. We have our signs here in place. We just had them made here at the Cricket Fan Zone. I'm gonna start with a man here. You tell me in about 10 seconds or less why Cody Rhodes is going to regain the undisputed WWE title tonight.
Because if he was able to beat the ring general Gunther, then I think he can beat somebody that has the biggest bald spot in existence.
Hey!
My guy. My guy.
All right.
You can't argue with that, Chewy.
Tell me why John Cena will always be the champion of champions. Go.
We have big match John versus Stardust. It's that simple, okay?
Oh, wow.
He broke out Stardust.
Stardust.
He broke out Stardust. Man. So let me see if you guys got some backup. Who else thinks that Cody Rhodes is going to regain tonight? No?
Make some noise if you're Team Cena, baby.
Okay, sir. Make your case. Make your case for John Cena.
He's the GOAT. That's all I gotta say.
Wait a second. We have to get Rose's opinion.
Yes, we
Rose, come here. Okay. Everybody wants to know, Rose, who do you believe is going to win tonight's main event? Is it going to be John Cena or is it going to be Cody Rhodes? You know, I can translate Rose talk. She just said, I have no idea, but it's going to be an amazing match tonight at SummerSlam, and this place is going to be lit.
Let's go.
So we got plenty more to talk about. The Countdown show is going to continue on. So please, stay with us.
That's right.
McIntyre now. Jelly Roll, who's just knocked out cold. Wait, he's out cold. Logan Paul climbing to the top of the ring post. Toasting some prime.
Here's your viral moment, everyone.
And a splash through Jelly Roll, through the announce table. Jelly Roll is going to rue the day that he wanted to become a WWE superstar.
Oh my God, absolute carnage here at ringside. I'm concerned, of course, for Jelly Roll. I'm also concerned for Logan Paul, whose eyes have glazed over.
Logan Paul with that splash, as the officials now and the medical personnel at ringside have got Jelly Roll to his feet. They're going to have to try to get him out of this arena as Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre continue to pummel away on him. Well, I don't know what Jelly's thinking, but he's trying to drag himself back in. He can't even stand.
He's a glutton for punishment, and he's moving like the Walking Dead right now. But this guy is showing some real guts tonight.
Listen, at the end of the day, you got to applaud Jelly Roll to not leave his partner high and dry here in this match. Randy Orton is going to tag in Jelly Roll, and here he comes. And Jelly Roll with a clothesline, and another one to Logan Paul.
Just fighting on pure adrenaline here. Logan Paul looks like he's seen a ghost. He may well have. Back from the dead.
Jelly Roll with a choke slam. Listen to this place.
Is Jelly gonna pull off the unthinkable here? Back from the brink. It ain't that easy though.
Logan Paul. Oh my goodness! A cover by Jelly Roll. And Drew McIntyre breaks things up. That was like a jelly to belly.
Watch out, watch out.
Power slam Claymore from McIntyre. RKO! Paul sends Orton into the post. Jelly Roll out from the Claymore. Logan Paul up top. The Paul from Grace. Frog splash for the win.
Here are your winners, the team of Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
Well, there's no fairy tale ending for our celebrity here tonight. Jelly Roll and Randy Orton lose to McIntyre and Paul here at SummerSlam. But what a performance by Jelly Roll in his in-ring debut.
Welcome back to the show for the 12th time. SummerSlam will emanate from the New York, New Jersey area, but for the first time ever, it is a two-night mega event here at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey as we count you down to the first match of SummerSlam Night 2. Jackie Redmond with you tagging in for the legendary Michael Cole alongside Big E. I'll start with this. Have you come down yet from the craziness that was the finish to last night's SummerSlam event?
No, still buzzing. Just sitting with Rosenberg, who kept going on and on about, I just sat down last night with Dipperstein, their agent, and Becky, and he was hobbling. There's no way we'll see Seth Rollins. And to see the look on that man's face when that music hit, still buzzing.
Yeah, and Rosenberg, I don't know why he would expect Seth to confide in him, but he certainly pulled the wool over everybody's eyes in the WWE universe. And since you mentioned Peter Rosenberg, he is, of course, a part of our show as well. He is backstage. Listen, you got Rosenberg, all right? You didn't know that Seth was a big fat liar.
I got, and I loved every minute of it. My only problem is that E just framed it like it was this horrifying name-dropping situation. That is not what happened.
I mean, it's a bit of a name drop. Bit of a name drop.
I just said I don't think there's any chance it happens. We cannot see Seth Rollins. I know for a fact that he is injured. I was completely wrong, and that's why we all love this thing so much.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be incredible to see the fallout from last night's main event, but we have a huge card on tap tonight for night 2 here at MetLife Stadium. E, I know you've already done an hour of this, but what's got you hyped for tonight?
Look, in the first hour, we talked about a lot of things. We didn't get a chance to talk about this TLC match at all. I'm talking about, the SmackDown Tag Team division has very quietly been incredible for the last several months. And all of those teams, those 6 teams in this TLC match, it's going to be a barn burner. It truly is. I'm excited for them to get an opportunity to show out tonight. So that's a match that I'm really excited and looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the triple threat. I am very intrigued to see what happens in this match. Rosenberg, how about you, real quick? What's got you hyped tonight?
Yeah, very much the triple threat match, but guys, come on. It's the steel cage. It's Solo and Jacob Fatu, another bloodline explosion. Something has got to give, and could this be a true sort of crowning moment for Jacob Fatu? I can't wait for it.
That was a timely answer by you. Did you see Jacob Fatu out of your peripheral? Because I'm being told that he has arrived at MetLife. Oh, and he's looking ready for action, E.
That's the man, the Samoan werewolf. They don't call him that for no reason. I mean?
All gas, no brakes, baby. It's Jacob Fatu's first match at a SummerSlam event, by the way. And then, of course, you have the United States champion himself, Solo Sikoa. There's a lot of history here. It used to be Mad Love. Now it's Bad Blood. It's a Taylor Swift lyric.
Keep it 100. You ain't never been in the ring with nobody like me. Jacob Fatu. See, I'm more gas, no brakes with it. Got it, I mean.
Fatu is the United States champion.
Solo says, I wouldn't be nothing if it wasn't for him. Me and you, Solo, now the champions, one-on-one. I'm about to dog walk your ass for the U.S. Championship.
Fatu into the cover. Who the hell is that?
Oh my God!
I gave Jacob the world. I gave him everything, and he deserves none of it. I'm the new United States champion, baby. These are my MFTs, my family tree. And now my family is complete. If Jacob wants to get involved in our business, we'll take care of it.
Moments ago, a multi-car accident.
Do you know where you can find Jacob Fatu? You gotta be kidding me. Jacob Fatu is a person of interest?
I ain't going with you punk-ass police. I didn't even do nothing.
Calm down, calm down. Let's answer their questions, not make it any worse than it already is, okay?
Tonight is the perfect example of who Jacob Fatu really is. Once a criminal, always a criminal. Wants to get locked up.
Jimmy Uso! And he is on!
Solo. You want to frame an innocent man and get Jacob locked up? Let's see how you like it. Because you will defend your United States Championship against Jacob Fatu inside a steel cage. Tonight is about sending a message.
Where's Solo going all of a sudden? The hell away from Jacob Fatu, and who can blame him?
SummerSlam, I'm dog walking the monkey.
Oh, baby, there it is. The steel cage is set up and ready to go. By the way, this will mark the first steel cage match for Jacob Fatu. He did take part in War Games, but in terms of a traditional steel cage match, this is his first. It's the second for Solo. Listen, I wouldn't want to be locked in a cage with either of these gentlemen, but when we're talking about Jacob Fatu, all gas, no brakes, he's talking about dog walking people, that sounds terrifying to me, E.
Absolutely. Jacob Fatu has been a rising star over this last year in WWE, but I also want to give a lot of love to Solo. You know, it was just a few short months ago when they were still aligned in the bloodline, where I kind of talked about the fact that people wanted Solo to be the guy, but Jacob has really emerged. But I think we've seen a Solo who is a lot more comfortable in his own skin, a lot more confident. We've seen a more humorous version of Solo, but I think that's someone who's just a lot more relaxed and someone who is really just in his own skin and is ready for this moment. So I think this is really a hugely important moment for Solo Sikoa, and it's not going to be about the other people in the bloodline. It's not going to be about anyone else. If they're going to be locked inside that steel cage, just the two of them, and I think it's such a great test. And you know, Jacob Fatu is someone that I think is going to be a future world champion, and I think tonight he reclaims his title. Tonight is hugely important for his trajectory here in WWE.
Listen, it is going to be an absolute battle inside that steel cage. I don't know what to expect, aside from the fact that I know it's probably going to be pretty vicious, pretty violent. Rosenberg, what are you expecting from this match between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu?
Well, I'm about to pull a Jackie Redmond. You know, I sat down with Jacob Fatu.
Listen, interviewing is my job,
It's
Rosenberg.
true.
You can't give me heat for
No,
that.
no. I'm just stealing your style. I sat down with Jacob Fatu on Friday on Cheap Heat Live, which you can hear every Friday at noon on Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 on Sirius.
Anything else you want to plug?
And no, that's it. And actually, it just went live on YouTube if you want to watch it. But anyways, Jacob, man, he is an interesting cat. Like, for as intimidating, as athletic, as impressive as he is in the ring, he's also cerebral. He also understands this moment, the magnitude of it. And he said, you know, even with all the bad blood with Solo now, he knows what Solo Sikoa did for his career. This is a guy who was working the indies. You know his story. He grinded. Jacob Fatu wanted this more than anything. This is a guy who made mistakes in his life previously, paid that price, and now he is living the dream, taking care of his wife and his family, and tonight he has an opportunity to truly take a step forward if he could beat Solo in that steel cage.
Yeah, it's I can't wait to see what happens. I have no idea what to expect. You know, Solo Sikoa is the only person that's actually pinned Jacob Fatu since he joined WWE. So I think this one could go either way. You know, Rosenberg, you pulled a Jackie earlier. Can you pull a Rosenberg now and do one of your infamous gorilla walks? You know it's my favorite thing that you do on this show.
That's why you're the GOAT. I absolutely can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So, yes, I was just outside of gorilla. I am now stepping into gorilla position right now. Again, if you're watching Unreal on Netflix, you see everything that happens in this room. Last night, you may have seen a very happy Becky Lynch celebrating as Seth Rollins shocked the world. Seth will probably be standing here tonight to see if Becky can retain against Lyra. Now, all the superstars, including John Cena and Cody Rhodes, will then walk through this curtain right here and find their way to the SummerSlam stage at MetLife Stadium. It will be the last time John Cena will ever make this walk. He once did it and then went on to beat The Rock at WrestleMania 29. And with that, I'm going to pass it off literally to my colleague, Joe Tess.
I just got hit over the head with such a shameless plug that came onto this broadcast. I don't know if anybody has an ice pack for the Cheap Heat shameless plug. I mean, I feel like it walloped me right in the head right there. But I will take the tag gladly from him. You know what I'm warmed by here is the doors just opened maybe about 15 minutes ago. But I love when people get to this level of a PLE, whether it's SummerSlam or WrestleMania, how the first thing they do is as soon as they get to their seat, they want to turn around and take a picture of the ring behind them or get down to ringside and take a picture as quickly as they can because it's that special for folks. And especially for folks here in the Metro New York market where now almost 1/3 of all SummerSlams in history have now taken place. And this crowd, we saw it yesterday, this crowd here in North Jersey, They're excited and they're reacting to everything, and with good reason, because we said it yesterday at this time. All PLEs sort of take on their own personality. This one lives to its moniker of being the biggest party. It's a party crowd, and you saw that the way they reacted to the history that was made right there with Seth Rollins cashing in. You saw it in the stadium. You saw it on social media. We saw the way they wanted to just keep partying, Big E. You know this, deep into the night, out on that parking lot with about 10,000 people who wanted to react to Triple H being there live for the post show, and you just get the sense here in Metro New York, they're ready for more history. The sun's blazing and things are heating up like never before, so fill out your RSVPs because there's only one way to cool down with the biggest party of the summer. Whether it's at Barclays, East Rutherford, Uniondale, or Madison Square Garden, New York and New Jersey have combined to host SummerSlam 11 times. So there's no better place for the biggest party of the summer than right here at MetLife with the first ever
epic two-night SummerSlam.
So with more in attendance than ever before, you can be certain everything will be taken to a whole new level. The inaugural event was held at the world's most famous arena,
Madison Square Garden,
where we saw Macho Madness align with Hulkamania to create the Mega Powers.
the madness and the mania together.
Set the stage for many iconic moments to come. We've seen some of our favorite superstars capture their first taste of WWE gold.
We got a new champion! What a moment for Legion of Doom! The inaugural Universal Champion! A newly crowned Intercontinental Champion!
We witnessed a match made in heaven.
This night will be remembered forever! That's what it's all about right there! A kiss seen around the world! There he is!
Enjoyed inspirational returns.
I always hope Shawn Michaels can get back in the ring!
Welcome back, the King, Triple H!
And saw the shocking moment Becky Lynch finally broke out of Charlotte Flair's shadow to become the man.
Becky, that's your best friend! Was the best friend!
We've experienced some of the most heated rivalries in WWE history.
John Cena wins at the biggest party of the summer!
And one so hot, both competitors fought all the way down the highway to hell. After so many years of amazing action and unbelievable atmosphere like no other, this year's show is poised to be groundbreaking, history-making, and there's no place on earth more appropriate than right here in New Jersey for yet another incredible SummerSlam. I always like to talk to fans who arrive here early as to what's buzzing for them. And the one thing we're hearing right now is what's buzzing is what hangs high above the ring right there, the steel cage. The first time that the WWE Championship was defended at SummerSlam, 1990, and it was in a steel cage. Here we are, 35 years later, and it's that structure that has people excited again. Back to you guys. We'll talk to you in a bit.
It's Test, but I am not. We all love a steel cage match. That could be the only match on tonight's card, and I would still be so hyped for tonight.
No, absolutely. And we got a lot of plunder matches tonight. We have no DQs. We have TLC matches. We got a steel cage.
It's all happening.
I love it. I love it. And it really separates tonight from last night, which was also incredible. But, you know, there's so many stakes, so many great matches we're excited about. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing Jacob and Solo in that cage.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night here at MetLife Stadium. Back-to-back nights for the first time ever. It is a 2-night SummerSlam. If you had to make a prediction, though, E.
I can't.
Gotta pick somebody.
I can't go against the Samoan werewolf. Jacob Fatu wins back his United States Championship tonight.
You're going to go Jacob Fatu?
I'm going Jacob Fatu.
All right, well, to keep it interesting, I'll go with Solo Sikoa. I will say that he retains his United States Championship inside of a steel cage. Don't know how he's going to do it, but we will find out. You know, it's been such an incredible week. I mean, every summer at SummerSlam, there's so much media happening. There's so many things to look forward to. But this year was really different in a very special way because we saw the debut of the new docuseries on Netflix, Unreal. I know you watched it. Everyone backstage is talking about it, and that's how you know something really hits. So if you haven't seen any of it yet, here is a clip of that series. Take a look.
I love like taxidermy stuff, so I have a two-headed duck, I have an octopus, a bat, crocodile. I have this little like mozzie mosquito. This is like a shrunken head. Like I love creepy artwork and dark colors, and I love all of that stuff. That's why my office looks like this. Technically, my name is Demity Bennett, but I go by Rhea Ripley, and that's what everyone really knows me by. Rhea is a goddess name, and Ripley is from the chick from Aliens because she's a badass, and I just put them together, thought it made sense. I'm from Adelaide, South Australia. I watched WWE growing up, absolutely loved it. WWE came to Australia when I was 17 years old, and they gave me a tryout then, but I was too young. They ended up coming back when I was 20, and they had another tryout, so they invited me to that. And yeah, I mean, the rest is pretty much history. It's weird describing Rhea Ripley for me because I am Rhea Ripley. It's just like a 10 times version of myself. Yeah, sorry, my dog is playing with this tennis ball. But this is Luna. She's my first child. Barry is my second, and then Bella is my third. Barry's always everyone's favorite. Aren't you, Baz? And you're the most annoying middle child that I've ever met. Huh? Yeah. You got bat breath, too.
Certain moves are going to keep opponents down. However, this is the very, very top level. It's a World Championship clash at SummerSlam. Your opponent is generally going to be capable of a little more than everyone else you've been up against.
53,161 here tonight, MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Home of the NFL's Jets and Giants, the final of the FIFA World Cup next year, and tonight, the first night of an epic two-night SummerSlam.
So England are going to win the World Cup right here next year is what you're saying, but the question is who's going to win the Women's WWE Championship right now?
Well, Jade Cargill looking great so far, and now Tiffany Stratton, though, great counter sends Jade across the ring. Tiffany's had an answer for almost everything from Jade tonight.
Yeah, so much finesse so far from Tiffany Stratton, and it's starting to wear down the challenger.
And now Stratton, caught by Cargill momentarily. Tiffany Stratton, though, has Jade where she wants her. And for the Alabama Slam, didn't quite get all of it, but has Cargill in position now.
Cargill's got such a long frame, it's hard to pull it off, but it did enough. No,
and the boots up, great counter by Jade.
Such long limbs there at Cargill, right to the jaw of the champ, and the champ's rocked.
Yeah, Stratton is
Here we go.
Cargill has the champ where she wants her. Jade had delivered for the championship. But Tiffany Stratton rolls toward the ropes, gets the foot on the bottom rope, and the official, Daphne LaShawn, has to call off the cover.
That, again, is a tiny window into minor experience problems there for Jade Cargill. Feet up here, beautifully executed, immediately pounced with it, rolled the other way for the pin, Jade, but no, over-rotated, and I don't even think Tiffany Stratton knew anything about that foot on the ropes. It was accidental by Cargill, and that cost her.
Now Tiffany Stratton rolls through shoulder strap. Great pinning combination by Cargill. Tiffany's got to kick it too. Tiffany looks out of sorts here, Wade. Cargill now with a choke slam.
Well, Tiffany got out of that first, Jade. It is not going to be a second, and Tiffany can't even stand up here.
Yeah, not quite sure where she's at, I believe, as Jade Cargill could be closing in on her first women's championship here in WWE.
Well, you need to make it count while you can, and we might be getting something deadly here, Cole. What is Cargill cooking up?
From the second rope, Jade Cargill setting up Tiffany Stratton for Jade. It is Tiffany now. Fights her way up to the top rope. She doesn't want to be up there. Jade Cargill now. Tiffany Stratton with a great counter.
Just took too long for Cargill to get set there.
Prettiest moonsault ever. Tiffany Stratton retains.
Here is your winner, and still the WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton.
Man, what a great match. Jade looked great, but Tiffany survives.
Yeah, well, Jade Cargill had the match won, but made a critical error there. Make no mistake, the trajectory of Jade Cargill will not be slowing down here.
Welcome back to the countdown to SummerSlam. Two champions, one night. Boxing's biggest names collide on Saturday, September 13th when Canelo Alvarez faces Terrence Bud Crawford in an epic showdown at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. This historic night marks the beginning of a bold new era in boxing. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com or elevate your fight night with VIP ticket packages at onlocationexp.com/Canelo Crawford. Woo! That is going to be a big night in Las Vegas. And of course, SummerSlam, Countdown to SummerSlam is presented in part by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. There's a look inside MetLife Stadium as we get closer and closer to night 2 of SummerSlam. We, of course, are on the outside of MetLife Stadium. And if you are a wrestling fan right now, I don't know if there's ever been a better time because we got content on content on content.
That we do.
Everybody's got a podcast, and guess what? They're all good. Cody's got one, of course. Stephanie McMahon also has a podcast called What's Your Story? Her conversations are absolutely incredible. We hate Logan Paul, but his podcast is pretty good. It's called Impulsive. And of course, we've got the SummerSlam recap. You can catch that with Megan Morant and Sam Roberts after the PLE. And then, of course, the man, the legendary Undertaker. It may shock you, but he's got some pretty good contacts in this business.
He does.
His guests are usually pretty good. His wife is also very cool.
Michelle McCool.
Yeah, Michelle
Right?
McCool
See what
is
you
a
did
part
there.
of the
Very
podcast.
cool.
You like
Michelle
that?
McCool.
She's
Yeah,
cool,
clever.
Michelle McCool. And here's a clip of them talking with HBK.
There was another time too where it was up in Canada, like Moncton, somewhere up there too. That we were in a bar. And you and Razor were coming from the bar next door, and you were totally oblivious that these two guys were about to totally just jump you guys from. And I happened to be walking through the bar at the right time, right? And I'm looking at you two, and I'm like, they got no clue. And I see this guy and another guy behind him. I was like, oh, crap. And so I snatched the one guy. I kind of boot the other guy, which stops him, which now everybody, just that commotion alone, like the boys, like it came in like vultures, like it was coming from every direction.
Crazy. That one I don't remember.
Yeah, I got a guy in a front face lock, right? And I'll never forget because it like the scene in Airplane where the guy talks and talks and talks, and then finally everybody's lined up in the aisleway. Yeah, that's how it was. I got this guy front face lock, and people, I'll never forget. Brian Adams, God rest his soul, like he was over playing a video game, and he looks over his shoulder and he sees. No, it wasn't Brian. Brian was there, but it was Kurt Hennig. And I got this guy. I got him front face, and Kurt is like playing the video, and he looks over, and like a gremlin, man, he just runs over there, and he just double back, gives the double back scratch up,
the guy.
and then runs back to his video game.
What a story. I'm sure he's got plenty more where that came from. Again, the podcast is called 6 Feet Under with The Undertaker. You can find it everywhere podcasts are found. And E, we learned yesterday that you just filmed an episode of Stephanie McMahon's podcast.
Yeah, I sat down with Stephanie. We had a great conversation. Can't wait for people to hear that. Also did Cody's podcast as well, waiting for that to come back. I'm a huge podcast listener, so if you're into WWE, if you're into our industry, if you're into podcasts, we got plenty for you.
We got a lot of podcasts, and they're all good. I'm not saying that because I'm biased. It's just the truth. All right, we had a costume contest yesterday. I understand we've got round 2 today. Byron Saxton, what do you got?
So we've established for a long time now that I don't think there's any question that we have some of the best fans in the world, period, right?
Yep.
Yes, we do, yeah.
Facts.
And we also have some of the most creative fans in the world.
We really do.
Chewy, am I right?
We really do.
We really
brother.
do.
These costumes.
And
wow.
by creative, I mean like how they dress.
Yes.
How they imitate some of their favorite WWE superstars.
Say it.
Which brings us to our segment here. Hold on, simmer down. Let's wait for it. I know they're excited because this is night 2 of the Chase Freedom Unlimited WWE Superstar Lookalike Contest.
Let's go!
But on this night too, I got Chewy. Where'd you go?
I'm right here,
There
brother.
you are. Okay, so Chewy's already getting at it.
I'm
Okay,
right here.
so tell us, who is our first lookalike? I'm gonna get out of the way here.
Uncle Howdy! Make some noise, y'all. Amazing. Alexa Bliss! Woo!
I'm curious. I would love to hear from Uncle Howdy, especially with the big TLC match tonight. How he's feeling about the Wyatt Six.
Let me hear it.
The family is gonna control the tag team division forever.
Oh
My life for you.
I got chills.
I like that.
I don't know about you.
Look at Byron. Look at this, brother.
Well, we can't skip over Alexa.
I can't.
One half of the new women's tag team champions.
That's right.
All I can say is Charlotte and I, we're going to be friends forever, even if she doesn't want to admit it. It's fine.
Okay.
That was really good.
That's good.
That was impressive.
Paul, how you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Triple H looking great over here, brother.
Hey, are you ready?
I'm ready.
No, I said, are you ready?
Can we get him like a bottle of water to spit out? Can we make that happen now?
Please.
Is that too much?
Got
Is that too much? Okay, we'll work on that. Next up, hold, he's got the bottle. Here we go. Bring it home.
Let's go.
Bring it home. Show us how it's done. He is the game. Don't spit on us. Please don't spit on us.
Make some noise, SummerSlam.
Yeah! 10 out of 10 in my book. 10 out of 10 in my book. The Chief Content Officer of WWE. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, watch the language. Okay, now, the paperwork wasn't filled out yesterday, but today he is in the competition. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Talk to him, Macho.
Byron Saxon, yeah, yesterday you said the Macho Man didn't have his paperwork. Well, guess what? Today I do. And you know what? It doesn't even matter because the Macho Man is the cream. I am the cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man, Randy Savage. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yes! Yes!
I like the physical.
Yes!
It's the physicality.
Should I drop the mic now? Okay, how about the man who committed the ruse of the century, according to Michael Cole, the new World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, alongside Braun Breaker and his Shulafala. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in his Shulafala. Seth, you shocked the world last night. Tell us about it.
The last
It's the summer of Seth. We got the shoes. We got a little dog in us.
He sounds like him.
That's good.
You might get tsunami. You might get storm. But I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary.
Okay, all right.
We got our winner.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Okay, hold on. We got one more. Don't be a prisoner of the moment, guys.
Okay, all right,
Don't be
all
a
right.
prisoner of the moment. We got
All
one
right.
more.
Give it a moment.
We have the Women's World Champion. Caution, Naomi. Naomi, you got one chance to take it home. Tell us what's going to happen tonight at SummerSlam.
It's all gonna kick off. Proceed with caution. I am the champ. Proceed with caution.
Right. Proceed with caution.
Okay.
Proceed with caution.
That's right. Proceed with caution. Okay.
Pressure's on, guys. Who are we picking here?
Who's taking it? Who's taking it?
We got one more time. We got Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss.
All right. Howdy.
We got the Chief Content Officer of WWE, Paul Triple H Levesque.
That was very good.
That was
We
pretty
got
good.
Macho Man!
I'm happy for Macho.
We got Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed.
It's a tough one to beat.
And we have the Women's World Champion, Naomi.
That's right.
All right. All right, guys, we're ready. We're deliberating here.
Okay.
E, you want to go first?
I was pretty sure I was going Macho Man. We had a lot of very strong ones here today.
Yeah.
But you can't beat Seth freaking Rollins. Masterful job. My vote is for Seth freaking Rollins.
Now, you guys know I was rallying for Macho Man.
I know you were since yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yes.
And even though the Braun Breaker that he has with him looks like Justin Scalise, who works at our office, I the voice for Seth Rollins. I gotta
He nailed
give
it. Yeah, as
I
soon as I
gotta
heard the
give it to
promo.
Seth.
2 for Seth.
Listen, I get a vote. I get a vote.
Go ahead,
Talk to us, Jackie.
It still counts. I mean, it kind of counts.
Come on,
Doesn't
Jackie.
fully
Who you
count.
got?
But it's important because it makes it a unanimous vote.
Yes.
I wanted to give it to Macho Man so bad for filling out the paperwork because I relate. I hate paperwork. I understand it. It's tough. It's annoying. But it's the look. It's the sound. It's the vibe. It is everything from Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth Rollins!
I need that man to meet the real Seth Rollins, and I need them to have a conversation.
We have our winner, courtesy of Chase Freedom Unlimited, the official credit card of SummerSlam.
Right.
Seth, you have been upgraded tonight. Congratulations, sir.
Baby, right where we belong. Trading our briefcase for the strap, baby.
The baby and the laugh is so
Nailed
good.
it. He nailed it.
Listen, someone get this clip to Seth Rollins immediately. Immediately.
I love that so much because his impression was just as good as his Braun Breaker was terrible. It made the whole thing, like, it was just incredible. That was awesome.
I did
Absolutely.
respect the Bronson Reed costume with the shoes and
Yeah,
the whole
the
thing.
shoes
Like,
well done. They went all in.
They went the
all
whole
in.
way. Congratulations again to our winner, the incredible fan dressed as Seth freaking Rollins. All thanks to the official credit card of SummerSlam, Chase Freedom
Thanks, Chase
Unlimited.
Freedom.
Now listen, I love costumes. Halloween is not that far away. My favorite Halloween costume ever maybe was when I dressed up as AJ Lee. I thought I pulled it off pretty good. That exists on the internet, but while we're on the topic of costumes, this year's Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios will have guests immersed in the world of WWE and bi-coastal haunted houses, the horrors of the Riot 6. Yikes. Halloween Horror Nights starts August 29th at Universal Studios, Florida, and September 4th at Universal Studios in Hollywood. You can buy your tickets now at HalloweenHorrorNights.com. Man, I'm still not over that Seth Rollins look-alike fan. That was
Lacy shirt and everything.
unbelievable. Now, the real Seth Rollins had his other half, Becky Lynch, in attendance last night. Last night, she was gloating. She was excited, watching her man fool everybody to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Well, Becky Lynch is in action tonight against Lyra Valkyria. Michael Cole sat down with Becky Lynch for an exclusive sit-down interview. Take a look.
The Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch, welcome.
Thank you.
Before we get into SummerSlam, let's go back to 2015. That was the summer where you and Charlotte and Sasha took WWE by storm, really starting the women's revolution at that point in time. Take me back to that moment and what that meant for you and the future of the women's division in WWE.
Yeah, back 10 years ago, I just remember being so unsure of my position in this company, but so sure of my potential in this company. It felt like we were going to change the game, we were going to change the world, we were going to do big things. But I'll also remember that I was kind of the afterthought. It was Charlotte, they were the big stars, featuring Becky. Well, it ain't featuring Becky anymore, is it?
So it's interesting. I remember the Becky Lynch who started at NXT in the Performance Center. You were very humble. Somewhere along the line over the past number of months, your attitude has completely changed.
Wait a minute, my attitude changed. My attitude didn't change. The people's attitude changed towards me, and they broke my heart. They broke my heart, Michael. I fought for them. I have been changing the game for the last decade, and yet you think that I'm this horrible person. Well, then I will be that person. Whatever you want me to be, I will be that for you. But just know that you've been holding me down. So now the man is going to hold everybody else down.
But it's not just the WWE fans that are sensing and seeing this. You used to be a role model. People looked up to you in the locker room. That's the point I was trying to get to, especially Lyra Valkyria, who at one point in time said that you were her hero and that she got into this business because of Becky Lynch.
The man is back.
Lyra lit up when I walked out there. It looked like she was gonna cry. I allowed Lyra to make history like her hero.
Becky and Lyra with the goal.
She became Lyra 2 belts.
Double champion with the man, dream come true. I feel like a massive life goal was completed today.
And then what does she do?
Oblivion!
Becky Lynch and Lyra were certainly great champs for about a day.
All my momentum, all my hard work. I had just made her a double champion and she just ruins it. She has to be taught a lesson. It's tough love. If your dog pees on the floor, what do? You rub its face in it. It has to learn.
I don't do that, but nonetheless, let's talk about the Intercontinental Championship.
Go on, let's talk.
Lyra Valkyria, an incredible champion, the inaugural champion.
All right.
Now you're the champion. What does holding this title mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. It means everything because this title is the workhorse championship. And that's what I am. And it's also a championship that was designed to give people opportunities. And I am the gatekeeper of opportunities. I can do for people's careers what nobody else can. You look at Lyra. Oh, she was a fine little champion. She was the first Intercontinental. But look at her now. I have still elevated her like nothing else has because I'm the greatest.
Let's talk about the match now at SummerSlam with Lyra. You obviously convinced her to accept the challenge that if she does not beat you for the title, that she'll never wrestle for the championship as long as you have it. But maybe she backed you into a corner as well, forcing you to agree to the no disqualification, no countout stipulation, because now there's no champion's advantage for Becky Lynch.
I am a master of those matches because I've got something in here. I've got something in here that always pushes me to the next level. When the whole world is at my disposal, I can do anything. She's the one that's gonna have to push herself.
How's it going to feel when you walk out into MetLife Stadium to defend the Intercontinental Championship, the first time that you will be in that stadium since you made history, when you main evented WrestleMania? Will it bring back memories?
It will bring back memories. It will bring back memories of my greatness. It's not just me saying it, other people said it. Documented, Sports Illustrated, greatest woman of all time. That's me. There's nobody that can do what I do. After everything I've done. Becky is best for business. Now, thankfully, we'll get Lyra out of the picture. It'll be the worst thing that ever happened to her because she won't be in my orbit anymore. It will further confirm that I am the greatest woman to have ever done it. And this is just the cherry on top.
Backstage here at MetLife Stadium, and Megan, we hope to get a word from Lyra Valkyria in response to that Becky Lynch interview, but she is so zoned in, so focused on this no disqualification match that she has time for nothing else, and I cannot imagine the concoctions going on in her brain right now for utter violence to beat that Intercontinental Championship away from Becky Lynch.
But Sam, the no disqualification stipulation isn't the only thing that Lyra Valkyria has to worry about, because if she can't defeat Becky Lynch tonight, she can never challenge her for the Intercontinental Championship again. I mean, you think about Becky Lynch. She's a history maker in this industry. Who knows how long she's going to hold on to the title? Sam, it could be forever.
Yeah, I mean, it could be forever. It could be till the end of tonight. Hopefully, Lyra is focused on tonight and tonight alone, because I think that's the way she's going to be able to get it done. However she gets it done, we're going to be recapping it on the podcast after night 2 of SummerSlam. But until then, back to you guys on the panel.
And as Sam Roberts always says, everything counts when it comes to WWE. You know, we watched an amazing interview between Michael Cole and Becky Lynch, and we talk about the stipulation and Lyra Valkyria agreeing that if she does not win tonight, she cannot challenge for that title so long as Becky Lynch holds it. Was that a mistake from Lyra Valkyria, in your opinion?
Look, I was just wondering if there's any information that you gleaned from your dinner, your sit down with Becky that you had with Dipperstein.
Who all was there again? Would you like to say who all was present?
Me, it was Seth.
Yeah.
No, we did not talk about her upcoming match. But I will say this. You asked, I know, about did Lyra make a mistake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she may have, because anytime you may close the door on your own opportunity, of course that's a major risk. The line that stood out to me from Cole's conversation with Becky, though, when she said, "I'm the gatekeeper of opportunity." I mean, E, what does that even mean? That is an incredibly lofty thing for someone to think about oneself.
And look, it's very easy to say that Becky is overconfident, that she is someone who's cocky, but it is very difficult to refute anything she says. She is indeed correct about being named the greatest women's wrestler of all time. But going back to Lyra and her strategy about making this the last opportunity to potentially beat Becky for this title, look, I think there's something to burning the bridges, to saying there is no going back. This is my only opportunity. I'm putting all the chips in on this opportunity. I'm not waiting for another. I'm not saying, okay, a defeat here might be okay because another opportunity will come down a month from now. I'm saying this is it, and this has got to be it. And I think Lyra's going into this match with that kind of preparation, saying, this is my only shot, and I'm going to make the very best of it. We had an opportunity on Fanatics Live to sit down with her, and her talking about the fact that she started training because of Becky. The first time she saw Becky doing it when she debuted 11 years ago, she said, oh, another Irish woman can do this. So having someone who means so much to your career, having someone that you beat her in NXT for that championship 2 years ago. So much of Lyra's career is because of Becky. It's inspired by Becky, and I think that motivation going into this is the reason she is indeed going to beat Becky tonight and reclaim her Intercontinental title.
So you're going with Lyra Valkyria?
I am going with Lyra because I think it means that much to her.
And do you agree, or what's your pick?
No, I think Becky has the mojo right now. I actually think she's in Lyra's head. I think the last 6 weeks or so has really done a number on Lyra Valkyria.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, I think the Rollins-Lynch household is feeling quite good right now after last night. I'm going to roll the dice with Becky Lynch.
I understand that, and they are feeling quite good. But I've also seen a Lyra that has elevated her game the last several months, and I think that whole mantra about iron sharpening iron, I think Becky has made her better and better.
I do agree with that, and I think Lyra has risen to the occasion every time she's gotten a bigger and bigger and bigger opportunity since she joined the main roster. But Becky Lynch, man, I might not like the way she presents it. It comes across as a little cocky, but she is a GOAT. She is one of the best. She speaks, and I think of like Michael Jordan and the way he talks about his career. That's what she sounds like to me, and she can back it up. It is going to be an insane match. We'll see if Lyra Valkyria can pull off a massive victory over one of the greatest to ever do it. All right, it is a beautiful day for some outdoor wrestling. The countdown to SummerSlam Night 2 continues here at MetLife after this.
Oops, I should be the face of Cricket 5G. Why Cricket 5G? 3 words. Blazing, fast, powerful. Just like the fastest game you can play on your Cricket 5G phone. It's just me, okay. Day one, it's just me, Day one, it's just me. Woo, that's fast. Like Cricket 5G. Yeet, you're on Cricket. First match of the night is the second most important match on the card. Because that's what gets the fans riled up and gets them ready for the show. The main event's the most important match. But first match of the night is what really gears the fans up.
the gear up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a great move. You know,
So
Ray, you were
smooth.
so creative with the stuff you did. And we were able to mesh my move set with yours.
Yeah.
It worked out so extremely well, and they're so different, you know? It's amazing how much chemistry we had.
But you know, I'm looking at this now. You know what makes it look even cooler? Like right now, we did the German, wheelbarrow German, and then you were gonna give it to me again, and I held on to the ropes. It's the moments in between that make it seem so much larger than life because I'm holding on, you're trying to pull, I'm holding on, and then eventually you throw me to the side, and I take you back in a sunset flip, and you're just like trying to grab the rope, and then eventually you go. So it's all those little details that make such a difference.
Ray, all right, this is where sometimes we take a little bit too much advantage of you.
Oh, trust
You
me,
beat the crap out of
I wouldn't want it any other way. So I've always enjoyed getting my
your butt handed to you.
Yeah, really. For some reason, that's like an adrenaline rush for me. Remember who gave us that one?
Yeah, that was a cool move, Ray.
Yeah.
That was your idea.
That was so I used to do that with Dean Malenko, and I believe he was our agent for that match.
Oh, yes, he was.
And
Yes,
he helped us, yes.
Man, you guys had some classics. Wow.
We're putting a little
I'm
bit more
tying you up
pressure.
in a knot, man.
Yeah, that was hard for me to breathe there. Oh, wow.
That's slick. You had these little moves, Ray, that you come up with. They're just so brilliant.
I remember the fans were like really into it. Really, really into that.
Yeah, they
this
were.
match.
Yeah, I'm glad we were first, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you, we stole the show. Every match after that.
I can't remember who was the main event for that.
Oh, man.
I think it might have been Brock and somebody else.
I don't think the fans care right now.
Yeah.
I have that annoying singlet on, the candy cane singlet.
The candy cane. See all these little bits.
It is.
And then go
All the
right
little
back.
things. It's just amazing. It makes a match so much better.
Yeah.
Ray does all the work. All you have to do is catch him. And the match turns out to be incredible. There are only 2 people in my career that I've ever wrestled that I felt that way about. That's Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I remember that, Ray. I missed the top rope.
Did you?
I landed on
Man,
my head outside.
I would love to rewind that.
Oh, man.
Can we have a rewind, please?
Yep, I missed the top rope. I flew out and landed right on my head.
No, I remember this. Corderas.
Oh, you dove over him.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
Yes, Corderas.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
incredible. You're like, holy crap, I actually did that.
Welcome back to the biggest party of the summer. Listen, the first ever tables, ladders, and chairs match took place in the year 2000. 25 years later, we got another one on deck tonight. Night 2 at MetLife, and it features 6 different WWE tag teams. With more, let's turn it over to Sam Roberts and Megan Moran.
Megan Morant, Sam Roberts here in the Raw Recap Not Sam studio. And Megan, we have arrived at SummerSlam. It's the 25th anniversary of the first ever TLC match. SummerSlam 2000 revolutionized tag team wrestling with that first TLC match.
I have never seen carnage like this. We're going to need more than 1 ambulance here.
At SummerSlam, we have something even bigger.
Yeah, we have 6 teams. I mean, the SmackDown Tag Team division, they have been at each other's throats, Sam, for months and months and months. I mean, battling over those tag team titles. And what better way to settle all of this than a tables, ladders, and chairs match?
Well, how many SmackDowns have ended with the entire division just going crazy on each other? Nick Aldis with no other option.
I have had enough of this.
Then you just put the entire division that, you're right, has been at war with each other into the ring all at the same time, full of ladders, full of chairs, full of tables, and only one team gets to be the tag team champions. Now the Wyatt Six have the titles.
The eerie, the ominous, the undefeated since returning to SmackDown.
Now they're looking to extinguish every tag team in their path.
I feel like it's actually the best potential way to get the tag team title away from the Wyatt Six, because they don't have to be involved in the finish of this match.
That's a very good point. You know who I am looking at specifically in this match?
Who's that?
Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. DIY, I mean, they have a history of thriving in high-stakes matches like this, especially we've seen what they've been able to do in a ladder match before. I really like DIY to get those titles back.
But also, I mean, talk about ladder matches. Talk about somebody that the ladder is a friend of. Fraxium. Talk about a tag team that can make an impression in a stadium full of people.
What a combination these two are.
Fraxium is one to watch just as much as DIY. And how about this? Very familiar with DIY. The Motor City Machine Guns, who came to SmackDown, won the tag team gold very quickly, lost the tag team gold, and since then have been looking to kind of reassert themselves in the division.
And how about Andrade and Rey Fenix? Now, I know this is a newer partnership, Sam, but, I mean, they've been firing on all cylinders, so together it could be very dangerous.
And it's not just firing on all cylinders. Sometimes you put two parts together that you wouldn't necessarily do, and you just recognize There's a tag team chemistry. Back in the day, you used to call them tag team specialists. And all of a sudden, this team of Andrade and Rey Fenix gets together, and they are that tag team specialist. But you talk about chemistry, the Street Profits are that sixth team.
Street Profits are always up.
This could be their night. Montez Ford is friends with ladders. Dawkins is friends with the bluntness of the table and the chair. They're on a mission to get the tag team championship back. But for me, I don't think anybody's going to beat the insanity of the Wyatt Six.
I mean, it's a very good point.
We're going to break it all down once we find out what happens here on the SummerSlam recap. Until then, I can't wait to see TLC.
Job well done. Thank you, Sam and Megan. All right, 6 teams, 12 superstars, and tag team gold on the line. There will be tables, there will be ladders, there will be chairs, and I think we will all be very entertained. Who the favorite is, I have no idea, but let's check in backstage with Kathy Kelly.
Thanks so much, guys. I am here with the Street Profits. And gentlemen, week after week, we discuss how deeply competitive the SmackDown men's tag division has gotten. It feels like every single week you guys raising the bar, putting your bodies on the line. So how have you been preparing both physically and mentally for what seems like your biggest challenge yet?
This has been a forte of the Street Profits our entire time. This is our division. All the attention is on it right now because of the Street Profits. The last TLC match that everybody was talking about, us as the victors. The other TLC match, other ladder matches, we were the victors. And now SummerSlam, the first PLE for the Street Profits in 16 months. You got to be crazy to think the Street Profits not going to show up and show out and get back what's ours, which is the WWE Tag Team Championships. With my brother, my right-hand man, 1,000 grand, Angelo Dawkins.
Yo, it's straight business, all right? No games, straight business. We won the last one, we gonna win this one. We in MetLife, baby. It's time to turn up. Let's go.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Looks like Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, looking to show MetLife and the world what they're capable of.
I'll tell you what, hell of a handshake.
Well, I'd like us
between
to,
those two.
Can we try to get close to that at some point?
Yeah, we don't have a handshake.
Like couldn't a handshake be a good thing?
I wouldn't suggest it. Leave it alone.
You want
Really?
Don't do it. Yeah, we can't replicate that.
Well, I mean,
No,
I
that's
don't want to
too
compete
good.
with that. I don't want to compete with that, but anyways, I love the Street Profits. I'm not going to lie. I know they look different. They sound different. I miss the red Solo Cups, but I've always been about the smoke. I want the smoke. I like the Street Profits. They get me hyped. You just heard Montez Ford talk about this being their first premium live event match in, what did he say, 18 months?
Which is hard to believe
They're
because those
ready.
guys are so talented. This match is one. Look, this card is filled with so many matches that we're going to talk ad nauseum about, so many stories. And this one, I feel like doesn't get enough love and won't get enough love. But I'm telling you, this is as far as all potential sleeper matches, this is the one for me. I think this one is really going to be a barn burner. All these teams are so talented. I can speak ad nauseum about Street Profits and how long I've been such a fan of Montez and of Dawkins. But also, I think of, we haven't talked enough about Fraxium. Those guys are incredible. They're still so young. They're 27 and 28. They're hungry. The speed, the athleticism, and I also think in matches like this, Andrade always shows out. The team of Andrade and Phoenix together, I'm telling you, they're gonna put on a clinic. This match tonight, it's so difficult to pick a favorite, but there's so many teams in this match I'm excited to see do their thing tonight.
And I like the point Sam made about the Motor City Machine Guns as well, who you absolutely cannot go to sleep on. They're familiar with this kind of match. This suits them. But I just think this is a great opportunity for the tag team division in general. You know, we have been in an era that's been so great in WWE and in pro wrestling in general, but the tag team division can get left behind. Moments like this, at a stadium like this, with fans like this.
It's big.
This is one of those moments when the tag division can remind people how special it can be.
Yeah, and look, I don't know if you guys saw the SmackDown TLC match after WrestleMania. Incredible. Incredible. One of my favorite matches of the year. I think they have an opportunity tonight to top that. I don't know who walks away. It's so difficult picking a favorite.
But let me ask you a question. What is the mindset when you're in a tag team and you're going into a match like this, E, with this many bodies? Like, how do you even get sort of your grips on what you're dealing with?
It's difficult because there's so many things to worry about, not just the bodies, but the ladders coming in, the chairs. But I think more than anything, what I think of is the mindset. I think we're going to see 6 teams who walk in with a chip on their shoulder. The tag teams have not really, especially on the men's side, they have not really been represented on the PLEs. This is finally an opportunity for all of them to get a showcase. I feel like we're going to see 12 men walk in here saying, I'm going to show all of you what this division is all about. They are going to walk in tonight with that attitude of, this show is ours.
Sitting next to E, by the way, and thinking of a stadium, I just had a flashback to that WrestleMania moment when you and the New Day were hosting WrestleMania. And that moment when you tricked the entire world and stepped aside to reveal the Hardys into that match. One of the greatest moments. When you think stadium tag team moments, that's right there.
Absolutely up there. And I have such a love for tag team wrestling, and I think too often we talked about the fact that, especially on the men's side, I feel like oftentimes they're kind of relegated to being an opening act or not really featured. So I think a lot of that will compel these teams to go out there and put on an absolute show tonight.
I cannot wait to see what happens. There are so many superstars involved, so many different elements. It's a huge stage. It's going to be pure chaos in the best way possible. We'll see who's able to come out victorious, but for what it's worth, I'm rooting for the Street Profits.
I appreciate that.
All right, you know what I hate?
What's that?
Bad breath.
Don't we all?
Don't we all?
Everyone hates bad breath.
Nothing worse, right?
Nothing worse.
Sometimes you got to help a friend out.
Don't say.
This is... We didn't want to say anything, but this is... Please.
Do us a favor.
Wait, I'm outside and 3 feet away from you. How bad
That's how strong it is.
This is breath death, okay? It's right here. Let's get a close-up shot, all right? Listen, we're doing what we have to do for your own good, Rosenberg.
I appreciate this.
Okay? So let's give some to the crowd. You guys want some
pelt you.
death breath?
Yeah, how do we do this? Give out
or
some...
breath death, I should say. Breath
I want to try this, though, too.
I want someone to tell me how it is. I actually have a pretty good arm, guys.
I had some earlier. I will say, for some reason, there is no time where my breath is worse than when I'm in a match. So I feel like, we need to pass it around the locker room.
Why is that?
I don't know what it is. Maybe the adrenaline, and it's always awful, so I could definitely use this mid-match.
So,
wow, this is
inside
delicious.
the ring where WWE superstars' breath is the worst. Just throw them some breath death,
Well
and
done.
they'll be good. All right, let's check in with Byron Saxton. Byron and Chewy, talk to me.
So apparently Big E has some breath issues.
Yes.
Yes, it happens to all of us. However, Chewy, have you ever wondered which superstar has the best breath?
Every day, Byron, every day, brother.
Well, I actually heard, even though he's known as the American Nightmare, that Cody Rhodes' breath, angelic.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I've smelt it.
You smelled it?
I've smelled it.
I got to ask you some follow-up questions on that. But listen, since we can't follow up with Cody right now, what we can do is do something for our fans, much like you guys on the panel did. We can check with our fans and see what they think of breath death. But however, before we do that, we need some death around us. We need the Reapers.
Woo! Here are the Reapers.
So the delivery is here. I'm going to grab mine. We're going to load them up. Exploding mint crystals, they call them. All natural flavors, which I love. All natural, okay?
The best tag team, brother. WWE and good breath.
Amen to that. Okay, I'll let you start out, Chewy.
Let's go.
Who wants a sample?
There you go.
Wait for
there
it.
you go. Oh, there you go. Good?
Yeah, it's good.
Smell it, baby. I smell it. I hear it.
Okay, I'm going to go here to the Tribal Chief. Okay, open on up, sir.
Tribal Chief got good breath already.
We're going to have better breath right now.
OTC going to do this one. We the ones. All right.
OTC. Good. I hear it.
He's speechless.
I hear it.
Absolutely speechless. Who else we got, Chewy?
Get over here. Get over here. Get over here. Get over here. Open up. Open up. Oh, yeah.
That's overload. We're going hard in the paint on that one. You ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think our job is done here, brother.
I think our job is done here, Chewy. I think there's going to be a lot of happy fans of SummerSlam and a lot of fans with fresh breath. Cheers.
Cheers. You can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Kill bad breath. Kill bad breath. Kill bad breath.
Kill bad breath.
And that right there is breath death.
What the hell is wrong with Byron? This man is by the way, I just had some. It's delicious. Your man looked like he was taking a shot of the hardest vodka of all time. They're delicious mint crystals. It's fantastic.
He's an odd duck, that's Saxton. I've known him for a long
looks
time.
great, though.
Yeah.
It's just a little different. It's
that's
breath,
okay.
death, and apparently superstars should take it before they go into the ring. All right, every week during these massive PLEs, the WWE superstars make a point to get out in the community. Ahead of the first ever two-night SummerSlam, WWE made an impact around New Jersey. Together with the state of New Jersey, our superstars supported Make-A-Wish Kids, the Boys and Girls Club of America, and many other local nonprofits throughout the week.
The lead up to SummerSlam at the Meadowlands, WWE spent the week giving back and creating unforgettable experiences that go beyond the ring. As part of the week's activities, WWE and Make-A-Wish treated a group to a special visit at Yankee Stadium, followed by a fun-filled day at American Dream. Superstars also stopped by the Boys and Girls Club, where they spent time with kids inside one of the club's newly upgraded super spaces. Partners like Make-A-Wish and Boys and Girls Club of America helped make the week extra special, bringing joy, connection, and moments these kids and their families will never forget.
All right, we are just over an hour away from night 2 of SummerSlam here at MetLife Stadium. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk about this match right here. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line between Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. We'll discuss next.
The heat is on. As the biggest event of the summer takes center stage at MetLife Stadium in the Garden State of New Jersey. The 38th annual SummerSlam is sure to bring the house down as it expands to a historic two-night spectacular. It was back in 1988, where SummerSlam debuted only 12 miles away from MetLife at Madison Square Garden. Since then, the biggest party of the summer has been hosted by 22 cities, will be streamed in nearly 200 countries, and attracted a live audience of nearly 800,000 screaming fans.
Don't let us one word.
An all-star lineup of 351 superstars, including 84 WWE Hall of Famers, have performed at SummerSlam, and we have certainly seen it all. Including 4 steel cage matches, 2 battle royals, the Elimination Chamber,
a custody battle,
a Hell in a Cell, a wedding, tribal combat, and even a jailhouse match. This year, SummerSlam returns to New Jersey for the 4th time, and the first since 2007. That night was headlined by future Hall of Famers John Cena and Randy Orton, battling over the WWE Championship for the very first time. And no one has owned this event quite like Randy Orton, which includes a record 3 World Championship wins at SummerSlam. His first took place 21 years ago, when Orton became the youngest world champion in history at just 24 years of age. This year, the Apex Predator will take the SummerSlam stage for a record-breaking 17th time when he teams up with lifelong WWE fan, country music superstar Jelly Roll, whose last album amassed nearly 60 million streams in its first week. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the very first TLC match, a groundbreaking attraction that debuted at SummerSlam 2000.
This looks like a tornado ran through our mobile home park.
And this year, we double the carnage. As 6 teams, a total of 12 competitors, the most ever in a TLC match, attempt to win the WWE Tag Team Championship by any means necessary. No one knows big match pressure like John Cena. The record-breaking 17-time champ will compete in his record 11th world title match in what will be his final SummerSlam. The greatest of all time will take on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, who's attempting to get back the undisputed WWE Championship that he lost 104 days ago at WrestleMania 41. This time, in a street fight! Countless women have rocked the stage at the biggest party of the summer. This year, the Queen Charlotte Flair has her eyes on tag team gold with new teammate Alexa Bliss. The two friends,
allies of convenience,
have a combined 23 championship wins in their legendary careers. 8 years removed from her last World Championship reign at SummerSlam, Naomi will defend her newly won Women's World Championship against the two women she cashed in on, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, in a triple threat match. And can the Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill, be the 9th person to win their first world title at SummerSlam and defeat the dominant Tiffany Stratton? 2025 has been running on Tiffy time, as the WWE Women's Champion is a flawless 13-0 and enters her 7th title defense. The Intercontinental Championship is synonymous with SummerSlam, with the title changing hands an impressive 16 times. However, world champions have had a distinct advantage at SummerSlam. We've witnessed an astounding 80 world title matches, and in 49 of those contests, the champion walked away victorious. That's a shocking 61% rate of success. Will that prove to be a good omen for the ring general? Or will CM Punk reach the top of the mountain yet again? 4,573 days since his last world championship reign. Nearly 4 decades of history come together with 9 championship matches in a historic 2-night extravaganza. It's time to ramp up the excitement, crank the volume, and get ready for unforgettable action as we turn up the heat for the 38th annual SummerSlam.
Roman helping his cousin to his feet. One's to the sky. 1D! One and done! Reigns and Jey Uso using the move that the Usos and before them the Dudley Boys made famous. Cover now. And Breaker breaking things up.
Such timing, such instincts there. Once again, the first up is Bron Breakker. 250 pounds of Gelic-Knight, and you simply cannot keep him down.
Non-stop motor.
And there's no fuse with this guy. It is flame-directed detonator.
And Breakker now turns his attention to Jey.
Breakker doesn't even look hurt. He doesn't look exhausted. He just looks angry.
He was speared through a barricade just a few moments ago.
Guy has lost the damn plot.
He's a fry short of a Happy Meal. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but that makes him highly effective at punishing human beings.
And Breakker targeting main event Jey Uso. He's got him in his sights. And look at Roman Reigns! Roman Reigns shoving Jey out of the way! Roman taking a bullet, the spear from Breakker! And a spear by Jey Uso! Reigns down!
And all the momentum now with main event Jey Uso!
The Uso splash! Jey and Roman win!
Here are your winners, the team of the OTC, Roman Reigns, and main event, Jey Uso.
I'll tell you right now, the overzealousness of wanting to grab the spotlight, of wanting to take down the original bloodline, cost Reed and Breakker tonight as the veterans made them pay. But Wade, to me, there's a massive story that has developed tonight on a couple of different occasions, even toward the end of the match. Roman Reigns put himself in harm's way, sacrificed himself for his cousin, Jey Uso.
We've seen the entire career of Roman Reigns, and not once has he put his body on the line for family, faction mates, anyone in fact, and I would argue that is the reason Roman Reigns has been so successful. He's ruthless. He's got a singular focus on his own success. Is he getting soft, Michael Cole?
That had to feel great for Roman Reigns, sticking it to Paul Heyman here tonight.
WWE Universe, welcome back to Countdown to SummerSlam. I'm Kathy Kelly, coming to you from backstage at MetLife Stadium, and I'm here in the ID shoot room. This is where we see all of the video portraits that you see before Monday Night Raw, before Friday Night SmackDown, before PLEs of your favorite superstars like a Rhea Ripley, like a CM Punk, even some celebrities have come in here over the last 24 hours. Cardi B was in here. Jelly Roll was standing right here. And speaking of celebrities, let's take a look back at some of the celebrities that have frequented WWE events over the years. Just 5 miles from New Jersey's MetLife Stadium, host of this year's historic 2-day SummerSlam event, lies a city synonymous with fortune and fame. The roots of WWE run deep in the Big Apple, and the Empire City's A-list celebrity status has unquestionably made a seismic impact on the WWE universe. From the early stages of WWE's pop culture conquest, stars from outside the squared circle have been a constant presence on professional wrestling's biggest stages. As WWE's influence and stature grew, the rich and famous wanted to be a part of the action, literally. From the icons of pro sports, the physicality of pro wrestling can be a natural transition. Trading the shoulder pads for shoulder blocks, these elite athletes have gone toe-to-toe with some of WWE's biggest and baddest superstars, creating some unforgettable moments and, on a few occasions, altering the landscape of sports entertainment forever. The celebrity impact on WWE doesn't just stop there. Some of cinema's biggest silver screen titans had ditched the film set for the thunderous crowds, getting up close and personal with the pro wrestling world.
You're damn right.
The stars of smash hit shows have competed in smash mouth bouts as well. Whether it's comedy, reality TV, or late night, these performers have brought some new wrinkles into the in-ring competition. Speaking of new, how about the moguls of new media? Some of social media's biggest influencers have gotten an in-depth look at the life of a superstar, often with viral consequences. Sure, we all know about the power of music in WWE, but chart-topping performers have gone beyond the mic to make their presence felt. Talk about a multi-platinum hit. For many superstars, rubbing elbows with the biggest VIPs in entertainment has created pure on-screen magic. For others, not so much. Sorry, Miz. WWE's most recent celebrity competitors have brought a whole new level of commitment to their in-ring aspirations, training around the clock and sacrificing it all for their primetime moment. The latest celebrity addition to WWE's star-studded roster, Grammy-nominated artist and songwriter Jelly Roll. After his recent hometown performance on SmackDown was cut short, Jelly Roll landed squarely in the crosshairs of the diabolical duo Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
No! A Claymore! Who the f*** shut the hell up, Jelly Roll?
Finding an ally in the Viper Randy Orton, the musical megastar is fighting back.
I'm here. Why don't you leave, huh?
While Jelly Roll may be new to the often treacherous world of WWE, he's bringing the heat to the biggest party of the summer. It really is one of my favorite parts of the job, meeting celebrity fans who are so excited to be at WWE. And of course, we saw Cardi B host SummerSlam yesterday. Drewski was out there too. We saw Jelly Roll make his in-ring debut. Who knows who we could see at SummerSlam Night 2. But in the meantime, let's send it back out to the panel.
Great stuff. Kathy, thank you so much. You know we're getting closer to showtime here when we have moved to the inside set. Welcome back to the Countdown to SummerSlam. Jackie Redmond, Peter Rosenberg, and Big E. You know, it takes a while to transition from outside to inside because he is so popular.
Oh,
like the people love you, man.
Nah, it's nice. It is nice. And I like hobnobbing. I like glad handing with the people. So
Yeah, they like it too.
No, but it is a moment. Every single time we do this, no
amazing.
matter what city in the world we're in, people see you and light up. That's pretty cool, man.
Y'all try to get me blushing and whatnot.
I mean, a little
what are
bit.
we doing
Also,
here?
though, like, mad respect, because, like, we're about to be live, but you're still, like, I'll take every picture that everyone asks
That's
for.
what we
You're
do.
the best, man.
Yeah,
you are
that's
the
what we do.
best, and we love it. And we've got night 2 of SummerSlam on deck here. We are getting closer and closer, just over 45 minutes away from kicking off night number 2. It is a stacked card. One match we have yet to talk about is the match featuring Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles.
AJ Styles returning to Monday Night Raw.
4 months ago, I came into this building with the biggest smile on my face, gonna get my career back on track, and then I get injured. This is a career-ending injury I was supposed to have. I've been down. I got back up. I am back.
I know it's been a while since you've been on Raw. The Judgment Day runs Raw.
I gotta admit, man, I'm kind of inspired by your work ethic. But just so you know, you will always be Rey Mysterio's punk-ass kid. I'm coming after that Intercontinental Championship.
AJ's been breathing down my neck. It's coming after my title.
Dominic Mysterio cannot run forever.
Dominic, you said you wanted to address the WWE Universe regarding your injury.
AJ, read the doctor's note. I am injured. My ribs aren't at 100%. But if you lay a finger on me before I'm cleared, AJ, you'll never get your title match. Doctor's orders. So, you want to pull out your little glasses and read this, or what?
Yep, right here. Doctor says you're a punk-ass.
Look, I'm not weird. I don't want kidding the elderly anyways.
So for somebody that isn't medically clear, Dominic Mysterio's running around. Look like he isn't hurt at all.
Dom, you must be feeling great. It was the adrenaline in my soul.
Next week, you are scheduled to be reevaluated. If you are medically clear, I'm gonna write a contract for you to defend this Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles.
See you out there.
Okay, sir.
Hey.
I hope you get cleared today.
Quit stalling. What are you doing? I'm not cleared, AJ.
Not yet. You will be.
And once again, Dirty Dom, who apparently has rib injuries. He seemed pretty limber to me. Dr. AJ, CPR.
I'm done. You're gonna get that doctor's evaluation.
Now?
Like now.
We finished the evaluation for Dom. Waiting a few more moments. AJ, I am cleared. I will see you at SummerSlam. I am the greatest. I'm already the greatest ever. The best. I'm the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
I'm coming after that Intercontinental Championship.
One of the all-time best in WWE.
You will always be Rey Mysterio's punk-ass kid.
Oh my gosh, there he is. There, Dom, you have a second. SummerSlam, the home of classic Intercontinental Championship matches, going back to Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect. Where will tonight's defense rank with those Intercontinental Classics?
I mean, you're talking to the greatest Mysterio of all time. So I would rank that at the top of the top of the top of that list, you know? Because, like I said, greatest Mysterio of all time, greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
But Dom, aren't you concerned about AJ? I mean, he pinned you on Monday and you barely defended this title.
Megan, who have you ever beat?
You know what? You just ruined it. You just ruined my day.
I can't believe you did that to me.
And there is AJ Styles, who has not held a title of any kind since the year 2021. That could all change tonight if he is able to defeat one Dominic Mysterio. Welcome back inside MetLife Stadium as we inch closer and closer to night 2 of SummerSlam here in New Jersey. You guys, this will mark the 4th title defense for Dominic Mysterio. But AJ Styles, I mean, this guy is so good. He's on a pretty good run right now in 2025. I believe he's 5-1. He only has 1 loss this year. So I don't know what to expect here, but this is the rubber. This is the rubber match.
No, that's right. And also, it's the same conversation we were having about, CM Punk yesterday. At a certain point, when you've had an incredible and illustrious career, the big moments, they dwindle, right? Yeah. A stadium championship opportunity does not happen every day. AJ Styles, for my money, and we've talked about this many times, is one of the best to ever set foot in the ring. And you never know when you get a shot like this if it's the last one.
Absolutely. And look, he talked about this potentially being his very last SummerSlam. And I think there's 2 different mindsets with hearing someone say that they're already thinking about retirement. A lot of people would argue, hey, if you're thinking about retirement, you should already be retired because your heart, your soul, your passion isn't in it. But I think on the other end, it's like, I'm really going to savor this moment. I'm going to make the very best of this run, knowing that I don't have a lot of runway left. And I think AJ is going to be of that latter mentality of let me soak this all in, let me be my very best. I know he was really frustrated when he had an injury not too long ago, and that set him back. But I think we're going to see a very, very focused AJ Styles here tonight.
I agree with you, which makes it even bigger for Dominic Mysterio if he is able to retain that title here tonight on a huge stage against a massive, well-decorated, as you mentioned, opponent in AJ Styles. What do you think of victory here for Dominic Mysterio does to the legacy that he is building in terms of people taking him more and more seriously as a champion?
I think it would be the best name on his resume, and that's no disrespect to anyone that he has wrestled for this title before, but we're talking about AJ Styles, truly one of the very best to ever do it. I had the pleasure of being in the ring with him with White 2 AJ many years ago, and he's incredible. He's really as good as advertised, if not better. But look, Dominic Mysterio was already calling himself the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the greatest Mysterio of all time, and this was on the very night that he won the title at WrestleMania. He was on the post show already talking about being the greatest, but to back that up, you have to put together a resume, and this would be a huge name to put on that resume.
Don't forget, he is a 20-year vet after all. Now, since I know you love plugs, I had a podcast the other day, Cheap Heat Live, and I spoke to Rhea Ripley, and I also spoke to...
Have you gotten 1 plug for this per hour?
That's what I'm working on today.
Okay.
And I talked to Roxanne and Raquel, and this came up completely organically. I had conversations about people in the locker room. All 3 of those women said there is not one person who is less stressed about anything in this place than Dominic Mysterio. Nothing phases the guy. He just wants his tendies. He wants to win matches, get some money so he can buy a cool new watch. He's just a chill guy. And remember, he walked into that 4-way at WrestleMania. No one was thinking about him winning with that title. Stadium match, WrestleMania, biggest stage. He wins the title. And the craziest part, of course, the stadium went absolutely nuts for some reason when he won. But the point being, number 1, Cheap Heat's a great show. And number 2, Dominic Mysterio is not fazed by the moment.
Yeah, you know, that approach, that chill attitude for him obviously works because he's had a lot of really, really good things happen in his career in the last few years, despite his best efforts.
By the way, and I decided, you know what I decided that was? I say this politely and with deference. It's privilege. He grew up, life for Dominic Mysterio, he won't admit this because he hates his dad now. Like, you could take some risks in life when your dad is Rey Mysterio.
Absolutely. You know, the whole mantra about being born on third base, that's Dom.
But he's that good still.
He is that good. And like, to see his rise, we talk about it time and time again.
He's that good.
He stole home.
Absolutely. But look where he was just 4 years ago. Like, so green in this industry. Now we see someone who is truly, fully confident. If he can pull this off tonight, it would easily be his best win. But it automatically takes him to a position of being amongst the best in our business. not just having the aura and the star power. That's already a given. But can you back it up in the ring against the very best to do it?
Yeah, you're right. You know, he definitely has the star power part down. He has been everywhere. He was on Hot Wings this year.
Yeah,
He killed Hot Wings.
That pop at Triple Mania was like an Austin pop.
Well, listen, speaking of that, because you led right where I was going, you know, his appearance at AAA, I believe we have B-roll of that appearance. Let's take a look because, you know, this is a huge deal for him.
Now, a lot of the internet went crazy for this. I want to be the first one to say I was not surprised by this pop. Like, this man is the most hated wrestler in the world, and particularly in Mexico, right? So for him to pop out and do what he did at AAA, it was amazing, but it did not surprise me.
Not at all. Look, very hated, but also there's certain moments where he's like a rock star.
I know.
Where people react to him like he is Michael Jackson reincarnated.
Listen.
Yeah, that's what happens when you disrespect Rey Mysterio all the time.
Absolutely. He really does have an incredible aura. It is different than anybody else right now in WWE, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, they don't hate him like they hate Dom Mysterio. That is one of one. All right, and it is official. Triple Mania, AAA's biggest show of the year, emanating live from Mexico City. We'll be live on Saturday, August 16th, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, and we'll be broadcast live in both English and Spanish on our WWE YouTube channels. Don't miss Triple Mania. It is just 2 weeks away. And look at that. You know what eating grin on Dom's face in that photo. If that, like a photo says, 1,000 words.
The Tendies eating grin is what you were going to say.
The Tendies eating grin. Yes, that's what I was going for. But let's talk about the match because it's a huge one. It's a fatal four-way match. It is just 2 weeks away. And, you know, I wonder with what happens with Dominic Mysterio here tonight, if he can carry that momentum with a victory into this match in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and look, the competition is stacked. We don't talk enough about Dragon Lee. Let's give Dragon Lee some more love. I'm telling you, this man is one of the very best to do it. He doesn't get enough shine. We don't talk about him enough. We talk a lot about Dom, and obviously that he's going to be a big deal, and hopefully he can take some momentum here today into Triple Mania. But Vikingo, Dragon Lee, and of course El Grande Americano, who's suddenly very tall, much taller than he was a few months ago.
It is weird, by the way, right?
It's a little odd.
But no, you're going to end up talking about Dominic Mysterio, of course, because of who he is, but also because of that, when you get into a four-way match like that, the target is on his back squarely.
Yeah, I'm Team Dragon Lee. I got Dragon Lee. I want to see more Dragon Lee. Put Dragon Lee all over all of our shows, okay? This man is too good.
He's awesome, man.
He's incredible.
Standing 10 toes down for Dragon Lee.
That's right. Someone needs to.
Well, you did a great job of it. Again, that match is in 2 weeks. August 16th, you can see it on WWE's YouTube channels in both English and Spanish. All right, last night we saw a lot of looks of shock and awe and disbelief as night one came to a close here at MetLife. Let's take a look at what was going down at Cosm, night one of SummerSlam, and we'll start with some people acknowledging the Tribal Chief there, and then, of course, yeeting.
I mean, come on, yo, everyone loves to yeet. There's no question about it. Best in the world. It's clobbering time.
By the way, have you guys ever been to the Cosm? It's incredible.
No, I haven't.
I went to one in Dallas. It is so immersive. Such a cool experience.
Yeah, you told me that it was amazing.
Great time.
Yeah, I plan to go. This looks incredible.
It looks like a very, very good time. Night two here at MetLife is going to be a good time as well. You know, SummerSlam really is a week-long event. There are a ton of meet and greets and superstar appearances. Let's take a look at what WWE superstars got up to this week in New Jersey and New York.
Wrestling fans, get ready to rumble.
First ever two-night SummerSlam takes place this weekend at MetLife.
Right here in our backyard. WWE returns to the Garden State this weekend. We like it.
Friend of the show, Triple H.
This will be the last time John Cena competes at a SummerSlam. This is going to be a massive event.
Damian Priest was in the house.
Logan Paul.
SummerSlam this weekend. It's going to be a good wrestling week.
A man who's going to be stepping into the ring at SummerSlam, Jelly Roll.
Please welcome my tag team partner, Randy Orton.
Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul versus Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. I can't wait to see what Jelly Roll does.
Boys and Girls Club of Lodi getting a big donation to help renovate their clubhouse.
The New York area is about to get body slammed this weekend.
You're watching Hot Ones, and today we're joined by Cody Rhodes.
MetLife Stadium, the nerves, 80,000 something people booing you, cheering your name. Will you buckle?
Cody Rhodes joining us It's live now. Cody, what is going to be different this time around?
Well, I'm just going to whip his ass.
Cody, you are savage.
But it is a street fight. And I don't think John Cena can beat me any day in a street fight.
Bliss then across the ring, able to duck underneath that time. And now Bliss takes out Perez, and an opportunity now to get to the Queen.
Well, both women seem to have the right idea there, but taking the worst of it was definitely Perez, and there you go.
Charlotte's legal, so's Raquel. Charlotte Flair, top rope, cross body to both Raquel and Roxanne. And Charlotte's fired up.
Surely closing in on something special here, Cole.
They're trying to first hook into figure 4, and then if she can bridge, Charlotte hit the figure 8, but Roxanne Perez with that springboard moonsault breaks things up. And again, I just can't get over the experience that Roxanne Perez has gained here since coming to Monday Night Raw.
It's just instinctive for Perez at this point to be the woman saving the moment for your team, right as Raquel was in her moment of peril. And clearly damage has been done to the leg of Raquel. This is breaking down. Referee losing control.
Oh, and Roxanne just saved Raquel. Bliss was trying to bless Raquel in the back of the head, and she inadvertently took out her partner. I mean, that was clearly an accident, Wade, and Roxanne Perez going to try to take advantage of the situation.
It'd be called allies of convenience, but the allies may be done after that friendly fire incident. Here we go.
Looking for the Tejana bomb. Tag. Delivered by Raquel. Roxanne's legal. Up over the top, looking for Pop Rocks to retain the titles. And Alexa Bliss saving the matchup for her team. And now shoulder first to the post goes Raquel.
And the pendulum swinging in a major way, and Bliss might have to win this one on her own from here.
Dragging Charlotte, who's clearly shaken up toward the corner, trying to make a tag. Can she? And she does. Bliss is legal.
Flair has no clue where she's at right now.
And now roll up by Roxanne. And a kick out by Bliss at 2. Near fall for the champ. Roxanne runs into a right hand.
Robbing blow to the jaw with all the momentum after hitting the ropes.
And now looking for Sister Abigail. And Charlotte with a boot to Raquel. And her Sister Abigail. Charlotte and Bliss are the tag team champions.
Here are your winners and new women's tag team champions, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair.
Here tonight, it's all about Charlotte and Alexa. So are they officially friends now?
It is a beautiful day in New Jersey as we continue to count down to night 2 of SummerSlam, a balmy 84 degrees, 29 Celsius for our international viewers of the program. We are 30 minutes away from getting to night 2. Countdown to SummerSlam is presented by Cricket 5G with fast and powerful nationwide 5G coverage. You can stress less and smile more. Night 1 was full of incredible big-time moments, and they were narrated in multiple countries around the world. Let's take a look.
Oh, rasanya tadi.
Sister Abigail.
Oh, Charlotte s'occupe de Raquel. Vas-y, vas-y. Let's go, oui. Sans Abigail. Busca la cuenta. 1, 2 y 3. De nuevos. Tenemos nuevas campeonas en SummerSlam. Yes, sir. Tanaka bottles పట్టుకొని ఏం చెబుతున్నాడు? Yes. Splash connected on the body too. Oh my God.
McIntyre geri sayımı yaptı. Logan Paul!
İnanamıyorum Masa.
auf CM Punk ein.
Meint es anhauen, macht es zu seiner Mission. Das
Champion sadece bir dakika mı?
Stiamo per assistere a qualcosa di clamoroso. C'è lo stop! Bella fatta! Seth Rollins gli Stando boneco donnante smenata.
O novo campeão mundial peso pesado. Seth Rollins.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, SummerSlam Night 2, as you know, Peter Rosenberg, and I am checking out again some of the best seats in the house. This time I'm in, I think it's 231, right? I'm in section 231, and I got to tell you, Abby, did you get a shot of this? You get the view here? 231 gives you an incredible sort of diagonal view of the ring. And I'm going to say hello to some of the people who have these fantastic seats, and I'm going to try to do it without busting my ass on live television and becoming a meme for the rest of my life. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm very, very good. What's your name?
Freddie.
Now, Freddie, were you here last night?
Absolutely.
Same seats?
100%.
How was the experience, like taking in the entire Seth Rollins cash-in? What was it like from this purview?
It was perfect. I could see everything, and I was so excited. Everything's beautiful up here. You can see it all, top of the ramp, ringside, everything.
Did you make any friends? Like, is there any camaraderie in 231? You guys know each other a little bit?
Here as well. Everybody's wonderful. Everybody's having a great time. We all getting along. We're all back again for night 2 and excited for another great night.
Let me go say hello to some other people. Abby, you can stay right there. I don't want you to hurt yourself. She has that camera. Hey guys, how are you? What's going on? What's your name?
Emily.
Emily. Hi, Joelle. How are you? Now, you guys were here last night as well.
We were here last night.
Joelle, let me ask you, what was the best moment of last night, SummerSlam Night 1?
Well, probably from when CM Punk won the World Champion, but it sucks that Seth Rollins cashed it in.
Wait, so you're saying you were at your happiest when CM Punk had won that championship?
Yeah, especially because he hasn't been wrestling for he was out for 10 years, and then after 10 years...
Comes back, gets all the way to the top of the mountain just to have it yanked away. I hope you don't get disappointed like that again. Are you feeling more Cena or Cody tonight?
Probably Cody, because he has to to win the title, in my opinion, because just like what Biggie said outside, that he has to do something to pull the trigger to get the title back to himself.
We're about to hire Joel for the post show. Great job, man. Enjoy the night. Thank you guys so much. This is section 231. Make some noise, 231. They're putting it down. I'll be back up there in a second. Big E, Jackie.
Great job, Rosenberg. Great job. We were watching you from a few rows above section 231.
And that Joel, very smart fan. You know, listens to the things that come out of my mouth for some reason. But yeah, we appreciate you.
Big E fan.
That's right.
He's a big E fan. But you do make solid points on this show,
that.
which is why you're always a staple on the countdown to these premium live events. All right, you heard them discuss tonight's main event. It is a street fight between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. The big question, of course, being, which John Cena are we getting? Are we getting the John Cena that wanted to ruin wrestling, or the one that's about hustle, loyalty, and respect? We only have a few more hours to wait to find out.
Everyone you have cheered for, I have beaten your best. When that hits zero, this championship comes home with me. There will be no one ever worthy enough to earn the right to hold this again.
Enough I don't want to fight a guy who's counting the days until he's out the door. At SummerSlam, I want to fight the real John Cena.
Hold on, Cody. I am not going to be at SummerSlam. I am filming a big movie for Netflix in New York City. I am emotionally exhausted. This was what's best for business right now. There is no way that I can sign this contract.
John Cena forced me to make a choice, and I hesitated. I did not flinch when I returned at WrestleMania and I came back home. I did not flinch when I stood across from a future Hall of Famer with a muscle hanging off the bone. I did not flinch when I went back-to-back at the Royal Rumble. I did not flinch when I faced my mentor, Randy Orton. And I did not flinch when the final boss came for my soul. Justifying print at SummerSlam. It's a street fight.
Thank you. That was just the boot in the ass that I needed. You forced me into a fight. If I don't show up for war, I shouldn't show up at all.
Welcome back, John Cena.
We get to see Cody Rhodes face off against the greatest of all time at my best.
I was born to do this. At SummerSlam, I want all the hustle, loyalty, and respect.
I can't remember the last time we've had such a marquee matchup that had such a massive complexion change literally just days before the match. But that's where we are tonight with the undisputed WWE Championship street fight between Cody Rhodes and the last real champion, John Cena. Real, that's an interesting word as we head into this match. What exactly is real? When John Cena came out and said he's tired of his own BS for the last 6 months, was he being real? When Cody Rhodes celebrated the return of the old John Cena, is Cody Rhodes being real? And how real is this street fight going to get tonight? The beauty of it is that tonight we're all going to watch. And we're all going to have those questions answered. And we're also going to find out who has the grit and who has the smarts to leave SummerSlam as the undisputed WWE champion. Panel, back to you guys, my friends.
Byron, thank you so much. I'm not sure I've ever been addressed as panel before, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Listen, I'm going to ask you guys the same question I asked Cole earlier in the show, and you touched on E. Do you believe John Cena? Do you believe what he said on Friday Night SmackDown to Cody Rhodes, that he is a changed man once again, and he is back to believing in hustle, loyalty, and respect, and no longer wants to ruin wrestling?
Well, I sometimes I wonder how sincere, how earnest this man is, but he made some very, I think, honest points. The fact that, in many ways, Dwayne and Travis Scott have left him holding the bag. A lot of us had answers. We wanted to know why. We wanted to understand what was happening with this trio, and there was none of that. And so Cena has been here on a weekly basis, running things. And I think seeing the version of John Cena I've seen in interviews, doing everything outside of the ring, I think he's someone who really yearns to receive the adoration of the fans. I think that's what he wants out of his last run. So I'm still unsure if we should believe him or not, but I'm honestly not sure that matters here tonight. Whether he pulls out some dastardly tactic or not, it's a street fight.
Right, it's already a street fight.
You better be dastardly.
Right. It's a great point, because it is already a street fight. So whatever version we get, the version for both of these guys better be willing to do anything it takes to beat your opponent. You can't have too much mutual respect in a street fight.
Listen, clearly neither of you have ever been gaslit. Because...
Did you not hear about Seth Rollins and me this week?
But John Cena said to Cody Rhodes, to me, has the potential to maybe mess with the mental side of the game for one Cody Rhodes, because I think the hustle, loyalty, and respect version of John Cena, the one that we've known for most of his career, is one that Cody Rhodes really respects. And it's harder. It's harder for someone with as much class as Cody Rhodes to go to those levels, I think, against somebody that he respects.
I'm going to say
I think it would be better for Cody if John was still being a jerk.
I've been talking to Jackie Redmond for a long time, and damn it, that was maybe one of the best points I've ever heard you make. You make a lot of great points.
Okay.
Fantastic job on Hockey on TNT, by the way. Just the best. But
I didn't even ask him to plug that.
No. I just did it for you. Season's what, 3 months away? But the point is this. That is such a great point, because if anyone would be affected, if Cody were to have a flaw, an Achilles heel, it might be his heart. And is he too affected by John Cena bringing him in? That's a good thought.
But look, class be damned. This man got kicked in the balls by John Cena. This man got slapped in the face by Travis Scott. How much more do you need? If you want to be at the top of this industry, if you want to be the guy, if you want to finish your story, if you want to be a legend, put all that to the side. We have seen a Cody Rhodes who has been too kind, he has been too polite. All that has to go out the window. If you want to be the guy, look, being nice, as I know, only takes you so far in this business. All that has to be put to the side if Cody wants to be the guy. I don't want to hear about doing things the right way anymore.
You are fired up over this.
But can't both of you be right? Jackie is right that could be what happened, and you're right that is not what should happen.
That's not what should happen.
He needs to dig deep and try to kill this man. I frankly, though, cannot believe that John Cena over the last several months literally was like, I've been thinking about things.
Yeah,
and I don't like the way things have been going. I'm a new man. I'm not buying it.
Listen, I'm with you. He has done way too much to just show up one day and be like, just kidding.
Yeah.
I take it all back.
I was told I'd be entertaining on TV. Where did Travis Scott go? I'm not angry anymore. I'm not buying it.
We'll see.
I'm with
We'll
you.
see.
I am not picking up what John Cena is throwing down. But the point remains, we don't know the actual real answer to this question until this match takes place here tonight at MetLife Stadium. All right, we talk about what's real, what's not real. This week we saw a lot of realness out of WWE Unreal, which is streaming now on Netflix. And one of the breakout stars, in my very humble opinion, was one Miss Chelsea Green.
Of course, as a wrestler, we have goals, we set timelines for ourselves, and of course, one of the goals is always to be a WWE champion. Obviously, as a female in wrestling, I have thought about what it would look like to be in a WrestleMania or win a championship. So I have the perfect outfit set aside that I have been dreaming about wearing. We've got my face on everything. If you didn't think I was obnoxious before, you will after you see that. This weekend, I am going to my hometown. I'm going back to Vancouver. I'm from an island off the coast of Vancouver, but I'm going to Vancouver. We are going to do a huge live event in Vancouver. I have invited all my friends, all my family, but I'm still trying to get booked. So that is the tricky thing about wrestling.
Welcome to the official Riyadh season opening ceremony 2024.
Live from Riyadh. Crown Jewel.
Look at this turning into a procession.
Wait a minute, CM Punk back on his feet, and Gunther made a critical error there. The premature celebration. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
The world champion has been busted open.
Gunther realizing he is mortal, and CM Punk knows it too.
Punk with Gunther blinded. No, Gunther though turns around into a sleeper. Turns it into a sleeper. Punk trying to fight out of this.
Gunther cannot see a thing right now. He has to end this here. And Punk is fighting out.
trying to make it back to his feet, and he does. CM Punk still with some life left. Punk now with Gunther up on his shoulders. Punk with a GTS.
Bullseye!
Going to sleep to the champion.
The champ is staggered, but he's still on his feet.
Punk's going to go for it again. Punk with a second GTS. Punk into the cover. Punk is the world champion. CM Punk is a world champion. Oh my God.
Oh no. Oh no.
Not tonight. Not tonight of all nights.
I'd call it a miracle, but I don't think it's that.
And CM Punk and Seth Rollins now going after one another. Punk looking for a GTS. Rollins beating him down. Apparently nothing wrong with the knee. At least it doesn't appear that way. With a briefcase to the face. And another one. And another one. And Punk getting the hell beat out of him by Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins looks as good as new.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Rollins is cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase.
You gotta be kidding me. Punk is defenseless. Punk is helpless. A stomp to Punk. A cover by Rollins. Oh my God, Rollins is the World Heavyweight Champion.
Here is your winner and new World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins.
The ruse of the century.
We are officially 10 minutes away from night 2 of the first ever 2-night SummerSlam event live here at MetLife Stadium. And with that, we go down to the floor and one Joe Tess. Tess, what do you got?
Well, Jackie, there is that big 4-tier giant SummerSlam set. And it is sun-kissed this afternoon. Look at the size of that. And here comes Alicia again. She gets such a great reception. I mean, look at tonight's fit. It's wonderful. 24 hours ago. You ready to work?
What's up, Tess?
I'll let you get to work here.
Let's get to work.
Get after it. Alicia Taylor, the one and only. You know, it's funny how 24 hours changes things, because 24 hours ago, we're sitting here with all the anticipation of the unknown, of getting ready, of just settling in to this kind of a setting here at MetLife Stadium, getting used to that set. Now, 24 hours later, every part of MetLife Stadium in this entryway, you think about some forever memories, like right about here where Roman Reigns landed with that massive dive, but especially up top and that ramp where those forged forever memories will be of the cash-in from Seth Rollins making his way down here as this crowd has settled in early. Everybody got close to ringside to take their photos. The one thing I will tell you today, by the way, how about Rico over here, our handheld guy? 30 years, Rico! 30 SummerSlams for Rico. Grogan's on my handheld. He's been through 16 of these, but we'll make our way over here. Yeah, they're giving him a stand. Hey, 25 for Sweaty, that's not bad either. But as we make our way over the announce desk, the one thing that we notice when we look through the crowd here tonight that's really different is how much Cena merch and how much Cody merch you see everywhere. Especially like this lady who's sitting in the 5th row right here with the John Cena the Last Time is Now Farewell Tour in that New York Jets green. You got Cena and you got Cody, buzz and merch everywhere. We're ready. Alicia's in place. Jackie, back to you. The sun's just about to settle down over the top of MetLife Stadium to the west.
Tess, I hope someone took a picture of you because it's golden hour and that lighting, you were looking good down there on the floor.
Jackie knows what makes for a good IG post.
Listen, I know a thing or two about
Catch that lighting just right.
The lighting is the most important part, and the lighting was very good there, golden hour. All right, we are just minutes away from night 2 of SummerSlam kicking off. We are going to bring in Sam Roberts to help us break things down and talk about these matches one last time. Sam, I don't know if we're getting feelings or analysis, maybe a mix of both, but I want to start here with the triple threat match that is going to kick things off here tonight. What are you thinking about or feeling as we get ready for this match?
I mean, it's a great question, and you do have to differentiate between the two, but right now with minutes to go, it's all feelings. And the reality that we saw Naomi not that long ago cash in the briefcase. This match is the most important for Naomi because a champion is defined by their reign, especially when they cash in that briefcase.
Well
is Naomi a true WWE Women's World Champion? In order to do that, she's got to hang with the very best, and tonight she hangs with the very best in Rhea Ripley and Io Sky.
That's such a good point, Sam, because the one thing, I know, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And by the way, Raw Recap every single week, not Sam Wrestling, wherever you find your podcast.
Would you not?
I'm just trying to help everybody
Relax
out.
with the plugs.
Okay. But it's such a great point because this thing with Naomi's been so cool, right? But the one thing is, what we haven't gotten is a lot of plain old W's in the ring. This is an important night for, of course, to retain the title, but as Sam alluded to, E, to sort of start putting that legacy together of getting just big wins.
Look, here's my counterpoint. Naomi is walking in as champion. She is someone who's been signed to this company for 16 years. Naomi got nothing to prove. Y'all gotta take this title from her. She has done so much in this game, and I think we don't put enough respect on what she has done in this company. You could also argue that Rhea has never gotten over this Io hump. Can she finally beat Io? Now, this is a triple threat, not just a singles, but you can argue a lot of the pressure might be on Rhea.
Well, that's a really another great point because Rhea has an Io Sky problem. We know that. And
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Rhea Ripley all but beat Io Sky the last time they were in the ring together.
All but beat her. Right. She didn't finish it.
Listen, it was like a 10 count from the crowd, okay? But these are the things that happen. The difference for Naomi is that this time Io and Rhea have been able to prepare for her, and that is a different task than surprising your competition and taking advantage of them in a vulnerable moment. I'm very curious.
I'm just happy we get another triple threat with Io and Rhea again.
Again, this match kicking off night number 2. I am so excited because the last time we saw those three in a ring together for the title, we were all losing our collective minds.
Yeah,
it was
magic.
insane.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn our attention to tonight's main event. We'll bring Sam Roberts back into the fold here because
Sammy, come back.
We need to talk about John Cena. The champ is here, Sam, but who is he? Which version of John Cena are we getting tonight, and does it even matter?
It absolutely matters. I heard what Big E said before, but Jackie, you are 100% right. The mental game is absolutely at play here. Cody said what he wanted. John Cena said, Cody, I'm going to give you exactly what you want. Here's the thing. With my brain, I don't trust John Cena. I haven't trusted John Cena since what he did to that Belgium kid. I don't see how anyone could. But with my heart, I, along with everybody else in MetLife Stadium, if that Tron turns colorful again, if John Cena is talking to Stu, if he is running to the ring, if we, not just Cody, if we get the old John Cena back, every single one of us is going to be cheering.
But Sam, that is going to happen, right? Like, I know he's hitting us with the old Tron, all right? I know he's talking to Stu. I know he's chucking the hat. He's going to give it to all the...
But is it a facade?
But what happens after that, E? And you say it doesn't matter. But it does.
But look,
It
matters to you. But look, so much of this conversation is about John Cena, what version of Cena we'll get. Not enough conversation is about Cody and his mindset. Cody needs to assume that we're going to get the very worst, most dastardly, most evil version of John Cena. Put that aside. Your preparation into this match needs to be about you. You need to focus. So I hope that Cody Rhodes is not hesitant anymore. I hope we see a Cody Rhodes who is not unwilling to pull the trigger. I hope we see a Cody Rhodes who is willing to be more evil, more vicious, because that's the only way you're going to win this match here tonight.
And here's the thing. I hope that Cody Rhodes, for his sake, is not thinking about what John Cena said on Friday night as much as everybody else is, because Cody Rhodes has never defeated John Cena one-on-one. This will be the 5th time they go one-on-one with each other. John Cena's won all previous matches. So this is a tough task.
It's one of those
for Cody
nights
Rhodes.
where you can't picture either outcome, right? Like, I can't picture either of these guys losing. It's like John Cena's not going to leave with the championship. It's over. That was the last run. It's so hard to picture.
It really is hard to picture, but that's what makes it such a great night here at MetLife Stadium, because there's so much anticipation, there's so much unknowns, and there are so many layers. And because it involves 2 superstars who are so loved by the WWE Universe, it's hard to really understand what's really happening. But we are out of time. It is showtime for Big E, Peter Rosenberg. I'm Jackie Redmond. Thank you so much for watching. The countdown to SummerSlam Night 2 goes down right now here at MetLife Stadium. Enjoy, everybody, and we'll see you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to sing God Bless America, please welcome the 2024 ACM Duo of the Year, Tiger Lily Gold.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
John Cena, it's not just a match for the title at SummerSlam. It's a street fight!
John Cena, Cody Rhodes, for the undisputed WWE Championship.
The biggest party of the summer just got bigger. Stay on and watch this.
WWE SummerSlam, tonight.